The King's birthday weekend, and we've got a fantastic contest ahead of us. Ladder leaders Balwyn, which is the one loss of the season, take on the reigning premiers of last.
Two are in the ladder. It's always a very competitive game, and sometimes the results don't go the way because you expect the home side to win, but on a lot of occasions the away side has won this contest in years. So there is no such thing as home field advantage when these two play.
Absolutely, and talking on that, Noble Park haven't lost a game on the road yet this season, so
No.
Who knows if they can continue that trend. But Josh, and as Brash said, it's 1 versus 7 on the ladder this weekend, but it is so even at the top of the competition, and Noble Park are sitting 7th just on percentage. So in reality, I think it's two really good sides still going head-to-head today.
Yeah, and you know, Noble Park, they haven't really hit their straps this season. Obviously on the road they have, but I still think there's plenty of potential left in them, and you know, it has the potential to be a surprising grand final preview. It was originally going to be my grand final preview at the start of this season, but yeah, I think as Brash said, no matter the positions, it's still going to be a very entertaining contest.
It still might happen though, Josh. There's still, look, these two sides, when they're at their very best, they seem to be able to, and especially when it comes to finals, these two sides know what finals football's all about, and they know that they've got to lift, and they know that they can lift cogs where other sides that haven't played in finals on a regular basis, they get overwhelmed very, very quickly.
Yeah, they do. And we did talk earlier, we had Vermont, East Ringwood, and we talked about their sort of rivalry in the past and the history with Vermont and how it's expected to make finals, how it's expected to win. That's part of their culture. Similar with these two clubs, that they're expected to play finals every year just with the groups they have and what they've been able to achieve over the last sort of 20 years with the amount of grand final appearances, premierships, which certainly makes it interesting again this year with Balwyn on top of the ladder. And there's a lot to discuss on this game, and we'll have both coaches, Steve Hughes and Brenton Sanderson, across the pre-game show before we get into the kick-off at 2:20. But before then, we've got to talk about some other games that are happening this afternoon. We're pretty fortunate to have 4 games in the league taking place this Saturday. One in Division 3 with Montrose hosting Mooroolbark hosting Montrose, sorry, and then in Division 4 we've got 2 games due to a bit of a fixture shake-up at the start of the season. So Scoresby take on Surrey for the 2nd week in a row, and then Croydon North Emlock host Churnside Park, who are coming off a bye. Let's start in Division 1 with Montrose and Mooroolbark because, Josh, it's an interesting contest with Mooroolbark getting a couple players back. Noonan comes into side, Gilby as well. They've got, I think, 5 ins off the top of my head, and they take on Montrose, who are coming off a pretty poor loss 2 weeks ago against Croydon. And for them, it's a must-win game, but also for Mooroolbark, if they do have aspirations of playing finals this year, they're going to have to pinch a couple of upsets in the next probably month of football. And today's the perfect chance. 2 great rivals again. They both get themselves up for this sort of contest.
Yeah, and you know, the context of this game as well makes both sides probably get up even more, just given, you know, Montrose will want to keep in touch with Wanty South Belgrave and Mitcham, although they're still a fair while away from the Saints, and you know, Mooroolbark will want to keep in touch with Beaconsfield, who sit in 5th. So yeah, it just adds to what is such a great rivalry between these two next door neighbours. And you know, the ends for Montrose are pretty handy as well. You know, you bring back Ben Johnson, Ryan Garthwaite as well into the lineup, and I think there were a couple of others as well. So yeah,
they do lose a couple as well. I haven't got the team sheet in front of me at the moment, but it's one for them back on their home deck as well. Brash, we've seen what they can certainly be capable of at their best football, but they've got to show it week in, week out. And I'm sure Gary Ayres, after 2 weeks ago against that Croydon loss, would have been he certainly would have had an interesting review during the week. And it's going to be we'll see how they respond this week.
I think he would have been really annoyed after losing that game. I just think that basically was against the game, against the flow of their game style. They're just one of those sides, Montrose. They're a bit like Mulgrave. They tease and they tantalise you, and then when you expect them to take one step forward, it's always 2 steps back with them, isn't it, Josh?
Yeah, it's you can't trust you can't trust them, to be honest. And they're a young side. There's still plenty of youth in the
That's
side,
true, yeah.
but they've still got that experience. You know, you got the Garthwaite boys and many others there as well.
I think, but also too, I mean, those ins for Mooroolbark today gives them a bit more stodginess around in the midfield and around the on-ball brigade. I just felt, I mean, look, it's very, when you've gone from being on it, when you've been kicking 100 to 110 points a game on average for the last few seasons, and then you go back down to a 75, 80 point, all of a sudden the pressure comes back on other players to make up for the shortfall of trying to kick a winning score. And that's probably where Mooroolbark are at this year. The fact that they haven't been able to hit the scoreboard as much, but they've done what they've had to do against the sides that that they were expected to win. They've done that, but they just don't have that extra scoring power at certain stages when they need to enforce themselves on the contest to try and take a big scalp.
I think you're right. And then when pre-season you take out Jordan and Mullet, that's 100 goals plus that they kicked last year.
Doesn't matter. You take 100 goals out of any. I mean, I look at Surrey Park. They've had centurion goal kickers. They've had 100. They've had 2 players in probably 5 years where they've kicked 100 goals between them, right? And they've lost, but they're still obviously they're competitive.
Yeah.
But that being said, when you're playing at the high level, you feel the losses more.
You do, and it's a different sort of feel to it on a Division 1 basis to Division 4. And I think we've also got the Oracle tips here. I believe we've got them in for the 4 games happening today. Who's the Oracle gone with here? I think everyone would probably still lean towards tipping Montrose, despite having a strong rivalry at the 2 sides. Has Oracle gone the same way?
Well, yeah, look, this week he sent me his selections for this round with only the 4 games, but they're all going to be very close. He's predicted very close games. 4 close games. He's got Montrose 86 as against Mooroolbark 66. And I reckon that's probably a pretty fair indication, because that's where Montrose have been averaging around that 85 to 95 point, whereas Mooroolbark have been between that, the 70 to 85. It just comes down to Mooroolbark's ratings go a little bit higher, especially when they come off playing, lower rated sides and vice versa. You've got to try and maintain your rating, and sometimes it can be a false narrative, but I think he's got it right here.
I think so. That sort of margin would be probably expected, considering that Mooroolbark have brought in a couple of key players, and certainly at their best, at their peak, they can certainly contend with the top sides. It's probably when they lose a few, when other teams can probably open them up a little bit. Yeah,
I think it's probably a fair margin. I won't be surprised if it's close, just because it's a...
Well, it won't be a pristine deck up there either. It'll be it's pretty, it is one of your typical suburban country grounds where the grass can be a bit long and your feet can get a bit tangled up and as such.
I'm interested to follow those results today, because certainly if Mooroolbark get up and cause a bit of an upset, there will definitely be a few more question marks on where Montrose season is at.
But the thing is, for me, it's probably, I won't say this is a pivotal moment for Mooroolbark in their season, but if they do lose again, we're now into round 10, I think we are we're in round 10 now, so we're in the second half of the season. The more they can't afford even though there's still mathematically a chance if they do lose again
Just makes it
today,
very tough.
and it'll make it really tough because I can't see them getting on a big winning streak.
No. And I think that they have to pinch at least a couple of upsets in the back half
They
of the
have
season.
to.
Yeah. And today's an opportunity because they build themselves up for this game. I know they won by 80 points last year, very different side, so we're not expecting that sort of performance, but certainly keep them as a red-hot chance.
Like I said, they're basically, I think the margin, in all honesty, would probably be a bit... it could be a lot bigger if the ground was a lot drier, because I would expect Montrose to be running on top of the ground a bit more. But I think these conditions brings them back down a peg, and I think with Mooroolbar and taking the Heights reserve factor, it brings Mooroolbar right back into the contest this afternoon.
Absolutely. Let's jump into Division 4. Croydon North Hemlock taking on Chirnside Park. I want to focus more on Scoresby versus Surrey Park because no disrespect to those two sides, but I don't think Croydon North Hemlock haven't won a game yet, and Chirnside Park are really slipping off and seem to be too far off making the finals. So the game here, Scoresby versus Surrey Park, is so intriguing, Josh, because they played last week, and very rare that you'll play twice in back-to-back games during a natural home and away season. And there's going to be a bit of mental games here for Scoresby because they've already lost to Surrey the first time. They're coming off a loss to them last week. If they don't beat them today, I don't think they're going to beat them at all this year. They have to win this one. Give them a bit of confidence going into a final series, because if you can't beat Surrey Park, you're not winning the Division 4 flag.
No, I think they'll put all their eggs into this basket for this game. Just being able to get the victory over a Surrey Park side who, again, they've been hit with injuries once again. No Nick Can, Riley Tempany is out, Jacob Woodfall as well, and Tane Vitaka obviously going overseas. They've got some handy ins like Jack McLaren and Nick Tanner, but you look at Scoresby, they bring back Declan McBean, which is a handy inclusion for their forward line. He's had a terrific season, and I personally think they'll want to get off to a fast start like they did last week, and it would hold them in pretty good confidence. But Surrey showed last week as well, even if they get off to a fast start, they can get back into this contest, and I don't think either side will mind playing on a bit of a nicer deck. If you haven't seen Surrey Brush, it's not in the greatest nick at the moment.
No, I drove past it on my way down.
It's not in the greatest nick. Whereas you look at
it's not a bowling green, I'll give you that much.
You look at Scoresby, and it's in much better. It's in really good nick as well.
It'll be better.
So, and they'll both want to play a fast style. Obviously, it's a bit cloudy overhead, but I think it could set up to be a high scoring contest, which is why I'm still backing Surrey, just because they've shown.
That's a surprise.
Yeah, what a shock.
The thing is, though, Josh, if you're the opposition and you have a look at Surrey Park's outs today, is this a game that an opposition side, a second, third, or possibly even a fourth-rated side, could fancy them chances?
I think a side like Scoresby would definitely consider themselves a chance, just because I feel like they haven't hit their full straps this year. Obviously, they have against the strugglers, but not against the top sides. I think a side like Scoresby or Kilsyth would see this as an opportunity, maybe Forest Hill if they continue on the hot streak that they're on. But I do think they consider this game a bit of an opportunity. But most of three of their inclusions all have senior experience as well coming into the lineup. So. Yeah, but for Scoresby, I think it's a good opportunity for them.
Brash, talk about the mental aspect of this game. I think it's very fascinating because you've just beaten a side a week before. You've already beaten them early in the season. You've got to come in with a world of confidence, even though it's away from your home ground, even with a couple players out. Does that play a factor, especially in a Division 4 league? Would that play a part in the minds of those players running out in the field today?
Well, I think that it possibly could, but I think the other thing is too, because it's still fresh in the mind of players, sometimes it can play tricks with you because you beat them one week and it's sort of low. And as the weeks go by, you don't get another opportunity to have a think about them, how they've performed since you beat them the last time. This is as raw as what you got to get. So you still have to. You've still got to go into the game in this mindset that it's a 50-50 contest, even though you played them the week before, because I just sort of feel that you can easily switch off very quickly by thinking, we beat them last week, we can come out again and we'll beat them again this week. It doesn't work like that, Ryan. There is, even at any grade of football, right? And we're talking about two sides, regardless of the division, that are wanting to establish a winning culture, and they want to win a flag. And so it doesn't matter on a Saturday afternoon, if Scoresby get up and win by 5 points this afternoon, they'll be thinking, yep, we're right in the mix. But if they go down by 40, 50 points, it sows the seeds of doubt for them. But I sort of think that if they lost by 2 goals, it'd be sort of more like an honourable loss, and it gives them another chance to live to fight another day.
And that's been most of their losses this year too, Surrey. They lost by, I think it was 15 points in the end last weekend, and then I think it was 19.
Similar sort of margin the first time.
Yeah, I think that was round 2, and that was Surrey's first game as well. So I think, they definitely won't want to have an honourable loss this time around.
I think they were Scoresby though, and I think for Surrey have had to chase their tail so far this season because of the draw and the way the buys have fallen. I think now that they get this game back today, this gives them a chance to get back on equal parity with the rest of the competition, and I think they'll get a sense of after today, then knowing that they'll look at all the sides around them and how many more times they've got to play them, and then they'll look at all the other sides, right, that won't probably be playing finals, and they'll be able to work their season around, well, okay, this is what we can achieve, right, if we do everything right. And the way I've seen it work for Surrey Park, I can't see them finishing anything worse than top 2.
No, they'll certainly make that double chance. They'll finish top 2 for sure.
I can't see any of...
Something would have to drastically fall apart to miss that.
Even with the fact now that if they beat Scoresby today, that means there's going to be a little bit of daylight between first and third. Then you got Kilsyth with their loss last week, which I think was more of an aberration, but no disrespect to Forest Hill, because Forest Hill had some form coming into that game. So, in essence, you would have said that Kilsyth were probably right for the picking. But really, this season really now is all about those 4 clubs. And because those are the 4 clubs that are going to be playing finals in Div 4. Yeah, it's just going to be a matter of where Scoresby and Forest Hill and Kilsyth finish.
And also, I don't think their Churnside Park form at the moment would get them there, but the byes hurt them too, because you don't get to play every single round. And last week you have a bye sitting and watching Forest Hill put Kilsyth to the sword, so it just hasn't been there.
That's very deflating because in essence, Forest Hill basically gave himself a 3-game buffer.
Absolutely.
And it's, put it this way, when you've got a 3-game buffer with 8-9 games to go, it's nearly impossible to make it up. Churnside will need help from other sides, and I can't see that happening.
No, I don't think so. The Oracle tips for those 2 Division 4 games. I think you would. Let's see. You said they were close.
Yeah, I have. I've got Surrey Park at 107. And Scoresby at 99, so both very high-scoring sides. But in recent times, both these sides have been scoring very heavily anyway. So it's going to be a real battle of the forward lines, and probably surprisingly, Churnside, because of their indifferent form and the fact that they've had trouble hitting the scoreboard of late, I've only got them rated by the Oracle, beating Croydon Emlock by 4 points, 61-57.
It'd be interesting if it was that close. I think the way Churnside have gone over the last few weeks, played some top sides and been probably that significant margin difference, which may play a factor in that.
I did some of my own little predictions on this division, and I actually have only got MLOC really only realistically got one more chance to win a game of football, and I've got Surrey Park winning only 6 games for the season, and my next rated side up was Forest Hill. I got them winning possibly 11. So I reckon there could be nearly a 5-game gap difference between Forest Hill and Chirnside come at the end of the home and away season.
Which, if that does happen, it's quite remarkable, just given how well Chirnside did last year. You know, they were the second best side for most of the season until the end of the year, and then, you know, it's been a bit of a fall from grace with them.
And the thing is, with the sides in Division 4 that you well know of, Josh, if you can't put your best side on the park, your results, you're going to get, more so in this division than any other division, you're going to get beaten really soundly on the scoreboard when you don't have your best side in, because the other sides, even their worst 6 players all of a sudden became the next best 6.
Yeah.
and they teared you up.
Absolutely. We are going to be shortly joined here by, I believe, Brenton Senson, who's on his way. But just before we get there, the Oracle has also tipped this game here, Balwyn and Noble Park. Do you want to get to that now, or do you want to save that one?
No, we'll save that.
Okay, we'll save that for later. But so all those games today at 2:20 around the grounds. If you're nearby, local footy, get to it. I think the AFL, there's Hawthorn at the G, but otherwise there's not a whole lot. So
this will be a better game than the Hawthorn game.
I think so. It will be certainly a lot closer. No apologies to the Hawthorn fans here. But let's get back. No, you're not. But let's get back to this game. And looking at the two sides, we'll touch on Balwyn first. Their form in the first 9 weeks has just been pretty much impeccable. They've dropped the one game against Vermont in Robbie Ross's 200s, but other than that, they've won every game and most of them quite comfortably too, Brush.
They have, and the thing is, I think Brenton Sanderson would be quite happy at the moment where Balwyn is situated. I still think Balwyn have got another. I think they've got a few more gears to go up, and the impressive thing about them at the moment is they're still able to win games of football, and the margins that they're winning by are quite reasonable. They're not blowing sides off the park, but it's almost like they're being very workmanlike.
Are they cruising through? Like at the moment, they're missing some players even today. Walker, who we saw early in the season, kicked 6 goals against Blackburn on that Good Friday clash. What's your thoughts on them? Are they just... Because they've really set themselves up pretty nicely with 8-1. You bank those extra wins that other sides have dropped, and Noble Park's one of them. Sort of sets their season pretty nicely in the back half, because now that it's a top 6 in this Premier Division, that top 2 is so important, because we saw it last year with both Noble Park and Roval making it there, and Noble, I think, thumped South Croydon in the prelim by 50 or so points. So there is a difference there of making the top 2 and finishing in 3rd, because it's either elimination or you got the double chance.
I think you're right, because I think the fact that 3 to 6, when you finish, you got to play quite a few games. By the time if you finish 3rd to 6 in Premier, normally the top 2 get a really good run at it. You're going to play, most of the time you've got to play 3. You've got to play 3 games before you hit a grand final, and at this grade, it's very, very hard. We've got both coaches. We've got both coaches. Well, this is going to be interesting.
If we've got the mics for them, I don't. Yeah, we can jump both on at the same time.
We'll give you both a go here. This will be a good one.
This will be very entertaining.
Stephen, how are you?
So we've got Brenton Sanderson here, I think, first from the Balwyn Football Club senior coach. Brenton, thanks for joining us this afternoon. We saw you round 1, had a great win, and since then you've been flying 8-1, and I'm sure you're enjoying your first year at the club.
It's been a fantastic start to the year for us. We've had some challenges along the way. I guess we've had some narrow victories, and we had a pretty disappointing game against Vermont in round 4 or 5, I think it was. But yeah, otherwise, the footy's been really fun, and enjoying being at this great club.
And for you personally, have you been enjoying the role? And I'm sure each week you learn not just about other sides, but a bit more about your own boys as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's and Steve will talk about it in a sec as well. Like you quickly fall in love with the guys that you coach, and you see the effort and the intensity that they bring on game day, but also the hard work they do behind the scenes. And this is a great footy club. It's got a long tradition of really good players and premierships. So yeah, the expectations are pretty high, and we're enjoying trying to live up to those expectations every week.
Brent, this is one of these games, the first game that you'll experience between these two clubs, and it doesn't matter where they are on the ladder. It's a really, really close and intense contest. So I just sort of feel like today that this is going to be a game where your on-ballers are really going to have to get on top very early.
Yeah, I think so too. I think, most games you need your midfield to play well, but, particularly against Noble, they've got so much talent in there, and, they're obviously a very good squad all over the field, but their midfield is where the cream is, and, we're going to have to be at our best. But, in the same breath, we really like our boys too, our best and fairest from last year. Bowen Smith's having a great season after missing a few with injury. We've got Urban, Sean Cross, who's obviously a bit of a legend at the club, and Oaks is in there too, having a really good season as well after sort of coming back here full time this year after spending some time at the Tigers. So it's going to be red hot in there today, I'm sure.
Jeff Gables has had a very injury interrupted last 18 months, Brenton, and I've just noticed in recent times as the season has started to progress, he's starting to really work his way back into the form that we all know that he's capable of.
No, you're right. He's a legend of the club. Fantastic leader. Having a really good season this year. He's had some bags of 3s and 4s along the way. With that forward line with him and Charlie, and also to Jordan Lyle. We've got plenty of options there going forward. And even when you look at our reserves today, there's probably 3 or 4 guys playing in our reserves who deserve to be playing seniors, but we just can't fit them in. It's as simple as that. And that's, I think, what makes clubs good as well, is you've got that depth coming through in the reserves.
Brendan, just focusing on the young side of things, you've got Dan Quinn, Oscar Lunny, who's come into the lineup recently, Jamie Ridd, a whole host of other young players that I feel like they've really taken their game to another level this year.
No, you're right. We've been really impressed with our younger troop today, and even down back today, we've got no Pendlebury because of his commitments with the Bull Ants. So yeah, our defence in particular, our back 6 or back 7, if you like, are all sort of 21, 22-year-olds. It's a good challenge for them, but something that we're really excited about as well. It's good to have those young players coming through, and our 19's got their first win for the season today, which is great. I know it's quite difficult for us to attract juniors here, where it's not an area where there's a lot of young kids playing footy, but yeah, we're sort of thankful that we've got some really talented 19s kids coming through.
And just on Chris Pendlebury, that obviously is a massive loss for that back line. Who do you feel like can step up and fill the void that he leaves?
Well, the guy that I've been so impressed with this year has been Josh Pollux, who I know played forward, but for him playing across centre half back this year, he's been really good, just keeps getting better and better. Really good decision maker, strong in the air, and once again, he's one of those young kids that's probably taken the next step this season.
Brent, we really appreciate your time this afternoon. It's a busy day ahead, so enjoy the day, and we're looking forward to seeing how you guys go today.
All right, thanks, boys. All the best.
Thanks, Brenton.
And the senior coach there at the Balwyn Football Club. We've also got Steve Hughes up on the balcony as well from Noble Park. So
perfect timing.
It is good time. They've both come up together, and here he is now. So, Steve, thanks for joining us this afternoon. Another blockbuster clash, and probably looking at pretty good conditions out there. I'm sure you're looking forward to it.
Can't wait. Yeah, this is, as I say, one of the marquee days of the year. So the boys have been up and about, really looking forward to it. A bit blowy out there, but top of the hill, what do you expect? So,
yeah. Absolutely. And it's been an interesting start. it's interesting that your few losses have come on your home deck, and besides that, your form on the road has been impeccable and really solid. So I'm sure that takes a bit of confidence coming here to play a really, really strong side.
Well, particularly last week, I thought we hit our straps a bit last week. So I've been a little bit grumpy all year. We haven't been able to put it together for a consistent 4-quarter effort. I think we'd won at one stage 12 out of 28 quarters. So. Which doesn't cut it. So we've sort of been up and down a bit. But I thought last week, whilst it was, Park Orchards had obviously battled a little bit, I was really pleased with the way we played. Our brand was sort of back on point. So maintain that a little bit today, and we're in the game.
So is that been the one issue? Because even games like Norwood, I think you led at half time. Even the game at Roval, up until 3/4 time, Roval probably had control, and then Jackson Sketcher and the likes of Horton Milne took over. Is that sort of the one thing that's letting you down? Just a few lapses in games?
Yeah, I think even East Doncaster, we had the lead going into time on in the second quarter, and they kicked 3 goals in 90 seconds, and it's really frustrated. Just lapses at the back end of quarters. Exactly the same thing happening against Norwood. So we've addressed it, and it's a tough game. You've got to play every minute though. So look, the glass half full component out of that is we've played some good footy, but we just need to put it together for the full 4 quarters, particularly in a tight comp like this. So and we showed that last week. So I'm hoping we can maintain. We're not going to have it all our way today, obviously. No. It's top of the table competitor. So but yeah, definitely if we can. Sustain a bit of that stuff that we showed last week, we'll be in the game.
And now your attack last week as well, I think it was your biggest score last weekend against Park Orchards. Did you feel like that in particular started to click last week?
Yeah, our entry conversion was about 65% of the times we went inside forward 50 we scored, which is enormous. And we had good separation. We moved Liam Scott forward, and he's been super for us. He's tough, he's quick, he's ferocious at the footy, and gives us a great target. So that's taken a little bit of pressure off the likes of Benny Marsden. We've pushed Jake Gaines forward. Kieran Byers is missing at the moment with some concussion issues. So we've thrown a few things around. It seems to have worked pretty well over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and your forward line is strengthened by the inclusion of Luke Nelson, and I think he's playing alongside his brother Matt for the first time ever. Yep. So that must be exciting, having those two who are such classy players, one with VFL experience and one at that NAB League level playing.
It is. Unfortunately, Coburg wouldn't release Luke early in the year for one of the buys, which we're a bit disappointed with because it was Matt's first game. So we thought here's an opportunity for two brothers to play a game of senior footy together, but it's worked out this week. So I know Mark, he's their father's proud as punch and excited for the day. So, really good for both of them.
Here's Eddie, like you said, intensity-wise, nothing wrong with the playing list, but it's the intensity and the mental drop-off in the games. And I know you said you address it. How do you address it on a week-to-week basis when you see that sort of pattern of behaviour in consecutive games?
Well, you can't hide on vision, which is a good thing.
No.
So, we review every week, and we're strong on our reviews. We're upstairs every week, every Tuesday night at 5:30, and we're in there for 45 minutes going through. And there was some common things happening, around stoppage and, just even our intensity just late in the quarters, which you're able to show them. And, I've got a great group that I coach, so none of them, nobody's ever ahead of themselves. We know when we're not playing well, and they always want to get better. So, just consistently showing them reviews and, like I say, you can't hide in those scenarios. So if you're showing that once, twice, 3 times, and sometimes that means that players miss the next week. So we just got to hold ourselves accountable to high standards, which we do. And I've seen some improvement lately, so hopefully that continues.
And I guess too, leading on from that, there's no better game for the guys to really have attack the mental side of it than a game that presents itself this afternoon, because there is a lot on it for it. There is a lot riding on this game for this club.
Yep.
I mean, look, I know Balwyn probably could afford to drop a game, but that's not the point. They'll want to come out and win. But for me, I sort of feel like that this is a bit of a must-win game for you today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're not hiding away from that. It's a scenario where we turn the corner at halfway, either 6-3 or 5-4, and that's a big difference. So, 6-3, we're, potentially in the mix for one of the higher spots, hopefully. A lot of work to do yet, but 5-4, we're back with the pack and battling for a final spot, to be honest. So, and we've got a tough draw. Obviously with where we finished last year, we don't have many easy ones coming up. So,
no. And And that's the thing. I had a look at the draw for all the clubs, and I mean, you look at the ladder now. We've just about finishing the first round, and there's still 9 sides in contention for 6 spots.
Yep.
And the thing is, it's almost going to be like those rounds between 10 to 14, where the good sides are really going to need to string some games together to try and snare that top 1 or top 2 spot, because as you're well aware of last year, sides having to do it from 3, 4, 5 and 6 have got to play nearly 3 games to get into a grand final, and that can be mentally pretty tiring.
Yeah, it can, absolutely. So, I think every side is aiming for a top 2 spot. We're probably not in the mix for that at the moment, but we, losing today will make that much more challenging, obviously, particularly with our draw. So, but that's what makes it a great competition. You've got, like you say, we've played every side, and we feel like we've been in the mix against every side. But you don't turn up and you get rolled. So so it's definitely on the line today. But it is, the competition's in a good space at the moment.
Well, I actually think out of the years I've been following Premier and First Division football, this year it's even been more prevalent that if you're mentally and you're not even able to field your best side, you're going to get beaten.
Yep.
And I think that's fantastic for the competition, that we've got sides from 1 to 9 halfway through the season, right, that are challenging for a finals position. And I think our Premier Division is in a very, very healthy spot here.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I think we've been a good demonstration of that. Like, we've lost 3 games at home, which we wouldn't. No. Obviously we don't like, but we were off, and that's reality. We switched off for little periods in that game, and it cost us. So
yeah, the other question that leads me to that. Obviously, look, we know about your known injuries because of, when we spoke to you, at the Roval game.
Yep.
How many other players on the periphery have you got up your sleeve, right, that are in your best 22 mix that's still to come back into that side?
So we've got Josh Tour's got a niggle today, so he'll miss, which is not ideal when you've got the likes of Charlie Haley running out there. So because Joshy, you'll usually get that matchup. So Josh Tour will miss. Kieran Byers, I mentioned, obviously. Kyle and Shane are cooked for the year, unfortunately. But and obviously from a seconds point of view, we've got a few rolling around. Harley Fairbank probably just a little bit out of form at the moment, so he's gone back. He's a premiership player, so we'd expect him to come back in at some stage. But we're in a pretty healthy space, to be honest. We're not missing a lot of players, so outside of the ones that are done for the year. So no excuses from us.
Yeah,
Steve, we really appreciate your time this afternoon. Always been very generous, and all the best for today. And looking forward to seeing the Bulls back in action.
Thanks, boys. Cheers. Have a good call.
Thanks, Steve.
That's the senior coach there of the Noble Park Football Club, Steve Hughes, has done a fantastic job as always with the club. We're going to go to our first break here in the Eastland Match of the Round.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Tobin Brothers Funerals wear their heart on their sleeve. Their clear and easy-to-use website and Memory Maker app make it easy for families to make an informed decision. Here's James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals.
We pride ourselves on being the most transparent funeral company. All pricing on goods and services are available on our website. It's all there for you to see and make very informed decisions when planning a loved one's funeral.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $200 a year on water and energy bills. Shower shorter. Save water. Authorised by the Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.
Sprained your ankle bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home, at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season, bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to the Eastland Match of the Round. Balwyn Visy Park for the annual long weekend clash between Balwyn and Noble Park. If you've just joined us, we had both coaches in the balcony up here with us, Steve Hughes and Brenton Sanderson. Brash, we almost had them together as a duo, but fascinating to hear from both of them, and they speak really well, of course, and been around the game for a long time.
They do, and the thing is, what I appreciate from our coaches now in our competition is they don't hide there is no smoke and mirrors like there was in the past. You know, you ask them a question, and how forthright was Steve Hughes then, saying, yeah, look, mentally we've been off, but not making any excuses, and he even admitted himself he was Captain Grumpy.
Yeah, well, the thing, he was very honest, because one thing, it said pretty fit in terms of injuries, and some clubs are right, they do have a lot of injuries, but you almost hear from every single coach, we've got so many injuries. He admitted, well, we're pretty much, there's a few out, but otherwise we're at full strength. And he also admitted that this, is so important to win, and that it is almost a bit of a season-defining game, because the difference between 5 and 4 start to a 6 and 3 is significant.
Only thing is, though, just because of the fact that this division is so close, just, with this as being the last round for the first half of the season, does it sort of, if they happen to lose again today, does it really hurt them because of the closest? It's not like that it's going to be a crucial loss where it's going to put them out of finals calculation, because there are plenty of other sides around them at that particular mark.
Yeah, I think mentally it might hurt them as well, just given, they've obviously defeated a top side in Roval during the season, but they've also, they've lost to sides that are higher up, like Vermont, Norwood at home, so it would hurt them maybe mentally, but in terms of their finals aspirations, I don't think so. I think, probably last week, as Steve said, they finally clicked into gear, and I think, like Roval against Doncaster East, that may be able to be a starting point for their season, for them to build their season.
Ryan, just going on from what Josh just said, though, did that game against Park Orchards come just at the right time for Noble Park to run themselves back into a little bit of form coming into this broadcast today? Because if they had lost last week to Park Orchards, their stocks would have been feeling a little bit. They would have been feeling a little bit glum, really, wouldn't they?
It would. It makes a whole world of difference if you came into this game having a loss to what was or what is still the winless team in the Premier Division, and then play the top side. I don't think you would have given them any chance at all. But it's a funny game. Momentum and confidence is so key, and that's something you can't always measure. But when you get a good win like that, you're seen to everything starts to click. The scoreboard was ticking over. Obviously, as you mentioned, their forward 50 entries were much better and were able to score off a lot more. You get that going into this week against the top side. It's obviously going to be a step above what they played last week, and that's no disrespect to Park Orchards. That's just the way it is.
They're going to have to
comparison from 1st to 12th, so they're going to have to play even better today.
Yeah,
but I think they are capable of it.
Oh yeah.
I definitely think so, and their forward line is helped by the inclusions of Luke and Matt Nelson. Luke's a proven performer at this level and has been a consistent performer for Coburg at the VFL level. Matt as well. He's consistently played for Dandenong Stingrays the last couple of years, and even started playing senior footy for Berwick Springs last year. So he's a proven performer at the senior level, and they add to that forward line. And Liam Scott, I reckon, as well, could be set for a big game as well. As Steve mentioned, he had a really good outing, and I think he could prove to be a difference up there.
Rash, you brought up an interesting point there to Steve about the evenness of this competition, and you've seen a lot of Premier Division football. Looking at this year, the top 9, as you mentioned, there's really nothing in it from about 1st to 8th. South Croydon are a couple games behind in 9th, but we know what they are capable of when they get running and they do get fit. Is this the closest you would say this has probably been in recent years?
It is, and for me personally, this is what I actually envisaged probably 2-3 years ago in my own mind. This is how I wanted my Premier Division, right, to actually resemble, because there was a time there where there was massive differences between even the top 6 and the bottom 6. Now we're starting to see it each year. It's top 8. There's 8 sides that are around the mark. Then it's then it drops down. This year we're up to 9 really good sides that are fighting for a final spot, with South Croydon still in the mix, but they're going to have to have a massive run home. So no, I'm excited about how this season's going to pan out.
I'm going to throw you on the spot here, because we did this in the podcast yesterday, which, if you are listening, I've had a bit of a problem with Anchor and getting it loaded. So at the moment it's not up on our platform. It came up with 10 minutes, so I don't know what's going on there. We will fix that. But what we did in the podcast with our mid-season review, we had our top 6 and we worked out who would fall out and who would come in, or if it would stay the same. I'll go through mine. I had to pull out Blackburn to get Noble Park in.
Did you?
And I've kept the other 4 in. I was either going to pull out Blackburn or Vermont. I think I was very...
or Blackburn.
Yeah, lenient.
You don't want to hear mine, Brash, because I went with Vermont to replace Noble Park. I still think all of those top 7 sides have a case to not just win finals.
Norwood at 8th as well can definitely play finals. It's hard to do. I'll put you on the spot here. If you want to have a look at the ladder at the moment, obviously Balwyn on top. And then you've got East Ringwood, Vermont, Blackburn, Doncaster East, Rowville, Noble Park and Norwood are 7th and 8th. Very hard to pull anyone out to put those in. Are you brave enough to pull someone out? Or do you think it stays the same?
What, that top 8?
That top 6.
Oh,
do you
the
think
top
the
6
stays the same? It's very hard to lead the reigning premiers outside of there, who are only 7th on percentage. We have to do add, because Blackburn, Doncaster East, Rowville all on the same amount of wins.
They're only 3% behind Rowville, which is not a big difference.
Put it this way, I think Vermont have done exceptionally well with the list that they've got so far. When you consider they come off a 91-point shellacking against East Ringwood, it's been quite remarkable how they've been able to turn their season around. I'm still a bit bullish. I think we'll get I know you put me on the spot, because I actually think I think the 4 sides that I'm still not are Blackburn. The 4 I'm convinced about are I think Doncaster East, Balwyn, East Ringwood, and
then the other 3 are Rowville.
And Rowville.
Right,
They're the 4. I think Rowville, for me, those 4 look like that if they get if all the ducks line up in a row, they're going to be. I think they'll be playing. I think they'll fill the top 4, but I think there's Blackburn, Vermont, Noble Park, and Norwood will fight out the last 4 spots.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think we'll get a bit of an indication next week when Vermont take on Blackburn at Vermont Recreation Reserve.
That's a massive game.
That is a massive game. So I'm thinking.
How's their is that a strong rivalry?
Oh, that's a massive rivalry because of the fact that there's some legendary players that have played at the two clubs, and the thing is, look, it's a healthy rivalry. The games are close; they are very close. But I think if you're asking me at this particular stage, Vermont have had some great wins against Noble Park and Balwyn. I still think Blackburn, right? Because they've got experience, but I like the way that they move the ball. For me, that troubles a lot of the opposition, and I just think they've got they've got an edge of experience in some of their players over some of the Vermont players. Not much, but just enough to tip the tide. Out of that, I probably think that I don't think Norwood are going to win enough games to make the 6. But I think in the end, it's going to come down to Blackburn, Noble Park, and Vermont fighting out for 4, 5, and 6.
I feel terrible for the Blackburn people there that I've kicked them out of the 6 because they've been phenomenal.
The thing is, I think I had Blackburn in my 6, but I had South Croydon up there as well.
I did too.
I think my problem is with South Croydon, and if I've heard correctly, Max King is on long-term injury.
I think so, yeah.
Right, and that hurts their structure. And I think, Wilson, for as good as what Wilson is, if he can't get the ball down to him, they're not going to be able to kick a score.
No, that's the thing. They've been pretty competitive in these games, but they're lacking those 2, 3, maybe 4 really key players, experienced players in that lineup to make that difference up and beat. So, they lost to Balwyn by 6 points, lost to Doncaster East by about 21 points. So at full strength, they could win those 2 games.
And that's the problem. In this division, there's such a fine line between pleasure and pain. That's the problem, because when we look at a ladder, we see South Croydon 10 wins, 3 losses, and 7 and 3 wins and 7 losses. Right, and then but the thing is, you got to look into the losses. They could have been competitive in 6 of those 7 games and lost by, like Ferntree Gully did, by under 15 points. It's not like they've been flogged, but it's just that there have been moments where they just haven't been able to get over the line.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I think their depth hasn't really been all that great as well, which often hurts. And when you've got players like Max King, who's out in the long term, really hurts. It really hurts their depth.
Here's probably the best analogy, Ryan. If push comes to shove, right, I would have Blackburn and Vermont, right, in that 5th and 6th position. If I was forced to choose out of them and Noble Park, because I feel that that Vermont and Blackburn have got a little bit more depth in their development reserve squads than probably what Noble Park's got, and that's what it could get down to if it gets down to injuries heading into a final series.
Yeah, and that's why this game is just so important for Noble Park to get that extra win. And looking at their side, a lot of our talk in the pre-season was, or not in the pre-season, in the 1 week before round 1 was about Martin and McDonald, both ACL injuries. That really has certainly, thrown a few loops for them.
I would dare to say, Ryan, if they wouldn't be sitting in 7th, they wouldn't be sitting in 7th.
A couple of extra games.
They would have won all their games. They would have won at least. Law of averages says they would have won at least 2 of those 3 games they'd lose at home.
Yeah, especially that Nord one was by a point. And,
that was the one that broke Brett's heart.
It certainly did. Who's here today, and he'll be calling this game alongside Matt Fodio, our former media manager, and our now contracted with Victoria Cricket. So he won't want us bringing that up when he's on air. But
he's always happy to give it to me about Vermont.
Oh well, yeah, that's true. And then also, but in terms of a Noble Park, some of the players have stood up. You certainly look at the performances of Sketcher and Horton Milne this season.
Oh, yeah.
Been so reliable. That game against Roval, Josh, he carried them on their back in the last quarter, kicked 4 goals and just took the PI 5-5.
He was doing that in the second quarter as well. He was literally carrying the world on his shoulders that game. He's taken his game to another level, and I think, Ray Bear was saying that he's probably Noble Park's best midfielder. Obviously, with no Martin, he is, but even with Martin there, he's definitely their best midfielder.
I agree, because look, for as good as what Kyle Martin is, I think Sketcher's a better deliverer of the ball and has better. And the stats have shown in recent years that his ball efficiency skills, Sketcher is a bit more superior than what Kyle Martin's is.
See, funny enough, someone from Balwyn here, a respected figure, did say that he thinks Sketcher's the best player in the competition as well. So that's coming from an opposition fan.
Yeah.
So it shows you just how well respected he is in this league.
I think, though, that for as good as what Jackson Sketcher is, he's going to need a lot more of his mates this year in the final series to carry him to the flag than what he has at any given time. Because the thing is, this is probably going to be one of the most hotly contested final series in this division in years.
Very excited for it.
And the thing is, all the sides are going to be participating, are going to want to be at full strength, because if you're going to be missing a couple of your players, it could be the difference between winning and losing, I reckon.
Oh, I think so. And with obviously the sides who finished 3rd to 6th, everything has to go right. So you have to be at full strength, and you have to be able to play your best for.
And you got to win 3 games in a row to make it to a grand final.
It's too hard.
Yeah,
I really think it. We saw South Croydon were in.
They
red hot form, but just
they ran out of gas in the preliminary final.
Yeah, I think that's
simple as that.
And that's the thing. It's at this competition, some sides thrive on playing week on week. Other sides want the break, and it just depends on your personnel.
Yep.
And look, I've been involved in clubs where we've played all the way through and won a flag, and then we've won the second semi and won the grand final, and you've had 4 weeks off. I don't know what the advantage is. Like I said, it's just the way the finals are structured, and you are rewarded for finishing on top of the ladder, and you finish on top of the ladder for the reason.
And we did touch on this earlier. We were sort of alluding to it. The Oracle pick for this game.
Yeah.
Now, you said it's a close one.
It is.
Is he sticking with Balwyn to win their 9th this season?
I am sticking with Balwyn, just win myself as well as the Oracle. We have Balwyn at 102. Noble Park 92.
See, if we get that sort of game, I'd be pretty happy. That's a very it's a high scoring, close game.
I think it's
not much more you can ask for.
I think between the two sides, I don't think you could ask much more scoring wise out of these two sides, because when you consider that the average score of this competition is around 78 to 80 points. Right, they're already kicking on average 3 and 4 goals above that average. That will win you more games. It just so happens that these two sides are sides that are capable of kicking 100 plus in any game at any given time, and the fact that both these sides have such a high rating is testament to the fact that we know that they are capable of doing that.
Absolutely. We are just about to go to our final break here before we bring in the call team. But, Brash, Josh, I thought that was a good couple of discussions. Good to have both coaches here. And,
at the same time, too.
Yeah, I reckon that might be a good one that we could might look to that towards the end of the season. But I think to have something like that, you've got to have the right coaches.
Yeah.
I think that it would have been interesting to, like we had Anthony McGregor last week, and he'd love to talk, whereas Scotty he only had 2 or 3 quick answers. So it would have been interesting.
It certainly would, but we'll go to our last break here for the Eastland Match of the Round.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in, because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look, but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, Why, yes. I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice-cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy. And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair.
Yeah, that's great.
Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home, at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Tobin Brothers Funerals wear their heart on their sleeve. Their clear and easy-to-use website and Memory Maker app make it easy for families to make an informed decision. Here's James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals.
There's no mystery about our pricing. It is clearly displayed on our website and our app. We have staff standing by 24 hours a day, every day of the year to assist you in your absolute time of need.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Hi, Dylan Dow from the Baroni Football Netball Club here. When I need to grab a quick coffee or a bite to eat, I'm popping into Eastland. Eastland's more than a shopping centre. They support a range of community organisations and have been a major partner of the EFNL since 2018. Cheers, Eastland.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season, bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Eastland Match of the Round out here at Balwyn Park. It's the King's birthday weekend and we've got a massive game ahead. Premier Division, top of the table. Balwyn take on the last year's reigning premiers, Noble Park. And to call today, we've got Brett Beston, a very well-known Noble Park man.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game today. I'm slightly less confident than I would have been other years because I think Balwyn are on the form side. Obviously, top of the table, Noble are 7th, but I'm not going to back against the Bulls today.
No, of course you won't.
They may be able to find something, but yeah, it's going to be a tough assignment and interesting game because always a great occasion to come out to the Big Queen's birthday game. And
sitting beside him for the second time this year, the former media manager Matt Fodia, coming off a cricket contract you would all seen for Cricket Victoria. Matt, good to have you back.
Good to be here, Ryan, and I'm going to have to adopt Balwyn as my new team. Living locally now, living
this is your area
in the
now, isn't it?
Boroondara Council now, and obviously Lilydale.
What a team to adopt,
well,
eh?
And Brash, Lilydale, my old faithful, they're none and 9.
yeah.
So as a fair weather friend now, I can.
But you didn't follow Ringwood.
No, I didn't. No, if you look at English football, you know, often people that support lower division clubs will have a Premier League club. So Lilydale are my lower division club, and I'm going to adopt Balwyn.
Okay.
But
good team to adopt.
And I was all over Balwyn for years. And maybe I was the curse.
Well, that was
as soon as I've left, they've come good.
That was your tip last year. It was Balwyn to win each week.
I reckon they were my tip the year before too.
Well, I've started to jump into that. I won't tip against them now. And also joining me in the special comments chair, Wayne Brasher, as always. You would have heard him in the pre-game.
Yeah, look, it's what a fantastic game. I'm always look forward to this contest. There's going to be some great matchups this afternoon, and one matchup I'm actually looking forward to is the midfield contest between Alex Urban and Jackson Sketcher. I think that could be a highlight contest this afternoon.
Absolutely, and Urban coming off 49 touches a couple of weeks ago, and also in the stats, and I think for the first time, Jared Beanland
Yeah, g'day guys, g'day to all the listeners. I've got very big shoes to fill today because there's no Paul Yaconi on the stats, so let's see.
Have you got your abacus with you, mate?
I do, yeah, it's right here. It's electronic and it's actually a laptop. But yes, very keen to see this matchup. Obviously the, Premier Division premiers, Noble Park against the top team in the Premier Division currently. It's just a special day, I think.
Yeah, certainly right. And also on the boundary this afternoon, Josh Ward and Dylan Smith, who debuted last week. Boys, how are the conditions out there?
Yeah, they're not too bad down here. It's a bit soft under, as you'd expect this time of year out here on a small deck. There is a breeze heading towards the right of your radio dials or to the scoreboard end out here at Balwyn Park. But yeah, it's all set up for a very interesting clash. Couple of big outs, of course, for Balwyn with Chris Pendlebury and Noble Park with some handy inclusions. But yeah, I reckon we're in for an interesting contest still.
Yeah, same here. Really looking forward to this one. I think the question is for Noble Park whether they can stop that handball game that Balwyn have implemented so well this year. It gives them the opportunity to create really good inside 50s, and I think if they can create enough pressure around the contest and stop those, optimal inside 50s, I think we'll be in for a really good game. But definitely still tipping Balwyn to win this one.
Brash, you're an SEN listener. Mm-hmm. You'd be listening to Brenton Sanderson on strategy with Jared Waitley every Thursday, and every week he talks about what he tells his Balwyn people. Surely the other EFNL clubs are listening into strategy with Brenton Sanderson on SEN Thursdays to just find out a little tidbit about what he tells his Balwyn side.
Well, I think he just talks about that he wants them to play at a level that's a little bit above the level that they're playing
and the thing is, the week Vermont beat them, he spent about 5 minutes, because Jared asked him, of course, he's a competitor, so he spent 5 minutes venting about how Vermont beat them. I thought all Vermont people would have got in. Adam Parker would have that on loop.
Well, look, the thing was, though, look, we all know, Matt, that unfortunately milestone games, they always go a bit pear-shaped for top sides. So look, I just think that Balwyn didn't play that well that day because Vermont didn't allow them, and obviously with the incentive of Robbie Ross, that was probably enough to tip them over the line. But they've been able to put that behind them, and they've only lost one game, and they've just continued on their merry way.
Absolutely. We've got the game about to start here, but boys on the boundary, your tips for this afternoon, just quickly?
I'm actually going to go with Noble, potentially to be a bit different. Pardon the pun here, I'm a bit more bullish on them.
I've heard that way too many times this year.
Yeah,
Dylan?
Yeah, it's Balwyn for me for sure. I think when they're up and about, they're really hard to stop. So Balwyn by 3 goals.
All right.
So game underway. This is the big Queen's Birthday clash. It's going to be an absolute cracker out here. We hope it is, as it's picked up by Urban. Highly regarded as, I think Maddie mentioned before, 49 touches a week ago. Sketcher gave it off, lost it. Quafer's there, picks it up nicely. Good work by him as he gets it across the back line. And they'll get out. Good mark taken there by Horton Milne over on the far side. Been playing some good footy this year. And his kick finds the target as we go very quickly down to the boundary.
It's Alex Urban going up against Jackson Sketcher.
So, just waiting for the kick in here. I think it's is it crossover on the far side. I think it is. Gets it down the line, looking for a target up. They fly. Ball gets out the back. And it's back towards the boundary. And it's a little bit messy over there at the moment. Taken over there. Quick transfer. Noble to bring it forward. They've had plenty of possession. Haven't gone too far, though, as the marker's taken over there. Britton it is. Gets it right across his far side of the ground to Wilson. Tommy Wilson. Just in the centre square, or near enough, as he chips it out wide. Mark taken there by Van Driel. So just a slow, methodical build-up. Van Driel bangs it down the line, trying to hit a target. There's a whistle from somewhere. And in fact, the ball's gone out of bounds in the forward pocket, and we'll have a big free kick to Balwyn.
There's an infringement there by Noble Park.
Smith goes inside 50 and finds Charlie Haley for the first time today, back from Swans VFL duty, and he looks like he's going back with intent to have a shot here. He's going to kick from right in front of the Noble Park bench.
Steve Hughes was worried about that matchup because Josh Tour, who's not playing today, isn't playing.
Well, Haley goes short and finds a leading option here in Goebbels, and Josh Tour last year didn't lose, did he? At all, that was the claim.
No.
Didn't lose a battle.
No.
So not having him out there is a key loss for the Bulls. And Goebbels now, he's still tucked into the left forward pocket here for the Tigers, but about 30 metres out. So it'll be interesting to see if he runs around. Looks like Ben Marson is manning that, but it's still plenty of room for one of the greats of the Balwyn Football Club and the Eastern Football Netball League, Jeff Goebbels, to slot one through and kickstart this King's birthday weekend clash. Goebbels trots in, goes with a low drop punt. Never looked online, and to be honest, surprising it got over the fence without being touched. It's one behind, so we're off and running this King's birthday weekend. The Tigers one behind, Noble yet to score. The Bulls go straight up the middle. A lot of space behind this one if they can bring it to ground. They do. Working his way forward was a Noblet. And it's just a bit of a scrap around the synthetic cricket pitch. Handball comes forward once again. Sketcher tackled as he got a handball away. Kevin Keane was around it for the Bulls and will pile in the centre circles. Really small back line for Balwyn and a really small forward line for Noble, Brash.
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting setup here this afternoon by both sides.
So Noble not known for their tall forwards that they managed to get by. They've had a lot of good smalls over the years as the mark is taken by McDonald. Sorry, that was Pollux, sorry. As the ball goes out, taken there by Noblet. They've turned it over here. Now it's Britton with the footy. Kicks it forward, trying to find a target. They do pick it up over there. The handball inside finds a target there in Smith. Smith goes, in fact, beautifully cut off over there. Superb interception by Hudson Thomas. Goes out wide, trying to find Sketcher, who had it. Might have been a case for a free kick there, but not paid. Now it's in the hands there of Sticker. And it's going to be a shot at goal by the looks. It's going to come up for Nathan Oakes.
Former Noble man. Didn't play many games, but he was on Noble's list.
Yeah, sometimes they go to another club, man, and they seem to find a new lease of life.
Well, I think he was VFL and then just obviously not playing as much VFL now he's here.
So Oakes, left footer, comes in and kicks, but I reckon it's off target. It's drifting out to the right. Mark is taken, but it's over the line, I'd say. We'll just wait for the umpire.
Yep.
Yeah, it's given the all clear through for a minor score. First score of the day, in fact, it's the second score of the day. Two behind, so no score on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, and we've been playing for about 4 minutes.
Ryan Morrison bring this back in and hoofs it again. They come both times the kick-out's Noble, they've gone to this direction. They just kicked it right up to centre wing pretty much, and the mark's taken by Ben Marson, who had a good day back in September against Rowville. His kick finds Jackson Casey, who's impressed in his first year at Noble Park, and then this kick into the forward pocket looking for Josh Stern. A noted goal sneak. Keeps it in. Might get a free kick here for over the shoulder. He will. He played that very, very cleverly, didn't he, Ryan? He knew the contact would have to come. Kept his head over the football.
Yeah, he did.
The umpire had no other decision.
No, and Wheaton was coming at him at full pace pretty much, so gets away with one and probably should have just left it and let it go out.
Yeah, he could have, but it's just a hard thing to do at top speed. Everyone just sort of feeling each other out here. No one seems to have clicked into gear. So Stern's going to run around, couple of steps, called to play on. Looks pretty good off the boot, that kick. I reckon he's nailed it. That's a beautiful kick, Josh Stern.
Yep.
Wearing the number 64 today. Hooked that one around the corner beautifully there. Open pockets here at Balwyn, but nonetheless, Noble get the first of the day there. 1 straight 6. Balwyn, 2 behinds, 1 gone. 5 minutes in this first quarter as we go boundary side.
Yeah, guys, just noted how Noble Park have looked to take the corridor, whereas Balwyn have looked to go around the boundary a lot more at the start of this game.
And just a big day as well to mention for the Balwyn captain, Jeff Goebbels, equaling great mate and the former captain, Rennie Gilchrist, on 184 games for the Tigers. So both played in the 4 premierships and a lot of history there.
Great milestone.
Rennie's still around, though.
Yes, he is.
So he's only going to hold that record for a short amount of time.
So put on the boot there by Urban, who gets his kick partially smothered, bouncing around out towards the far side of the ground. Heavy tackle over there as the ball spills away. It's all a bit messy. Noble take possession for the moment as they just scrub it forward, trying to find a target over there. That's Stern, the goal kicker. Went without it, ball on the grounds. Now it's in the hands there of Urban, who's had plenty of the footy in the early stages. His kick is cut off there by Powell, though. Good interception. And Powell will take it out wide, looking for Noblet, finds him nicely. So he's been good, Noblet, this year. Kicked a few goals, and he goes right out wide, and the mark not quite taken. Marston's got a bit of work to do. It's a 2-on-1, and he's going to get, he just got the handball away in the nick of time. Puts it back inside, trying to find a target, can't do so. Ball on the grounds. Cries of holding the ball, and I reckon it's going to be paid as well. I think it was fair enough, and it's going to be a free kick to Balwyn.
So Balwyn take it away through the middle of the ground to Oakes. I think it was Richmond VFL last year, not sure now. Powell came across with a nice spoil towards the outer side. And it's a 1-on-1 here. Both sides again, no one really hitting top speed at the moment. Pollux might be pinged for incorrect disposal, and he's a bit unlucky there because the tackle wasn't exactly stuck by Gakoa, but nonetheless it's a free kick to the Bulls. And Jamie Goodleitson sitting in the hole as is Chevy Anderson. Anderson should get across and mark this. The wind might carry it out the back, and it does. Goodleitson gathers eventually and then chips one up the line. Gakoa might get a second chance here. Flies, brought it to ground. Pollux could get a free kick from the back and doesn't. So it's interesting to note Noble pretty much getting their numbers as high up the ground as possible, Brash and Ryan, and trying to make Balwyn defend with they're facing their own goal. So I'm interested to see if Brenton Sanderson just sits someone to play like Stephen May and just sit behind the play at all times, because as Brestow mentioned, no real tall forwards for Noble.
Well, it was smart there by Godleapson just to saw 5 players go up and just hold the back position.
Thrown in Gaines and Chevy Anderson, one of the more underrated ruckmen in the competition over his time. Chevy. Bowen Smith could have been pinked for a throw, wasn't. Handball come out wide. Goodcola is having a good little patch here. Gets a free kick for over the shoulder. Tackle there committed by Thomas Wilson. So this is probably what Noble don't want, though, because they don't really have a marking target, do they? They actually want fast breaks. So Goodcola put it in the hole again. Should be all Balwyn. They drop the mark, but eventually Pollux will clear to the outer side in the Goebels direction. He takes the mark on the right half-back flank.
Well, this is Jeff Goebels at his best, pushing up the ground, being that extra player to help set up play further down the field.
So Goebels sends it down the middle of the ground, pretty much to nobody, going in there fighting hard. Is one of the no Balwyn players. I can't see who that is, but he's taken on the ground. I think it might be Stevenson or Stephenson in there. So the umpire says we'll ball it up. So 1 goal, plays 2 behinds at the moment. Just very much a filling out contest. Beach the tap. Falls into the hands there of Sticker, who's taken the ground. Now it's in the hands of that man Stevenson. He's getting plenty of it in the early stages. Gets the handball out to Smith. Smith goes to about centre half forward. Now it's in the hands of Bull. Bull brings it away. Glenn it was actually. Now it's
well done.
Hands of McDermott. So it's all over the place at the moment. Over there on the far side, Balwyn come forward. That's a good ball down the line, but not marked, not taken, but it's going to fall for them anyway. And there's a shot at goal. Let's have a look at it. No, it's just off target.
Is Luke Bull playing on Charlie Haley? Is that what Steve said? Because that was the matchup right at the end there. Is that how they wanted it to play out, Josh?
Job on Haley, so a bit of experience on him there.
Takes away one of Noble's better players, though, doesn't it? He can get a fair bit of the ball himself, Luke, but nonetheless, here come the Bulls. They've been good early. Gokoa again, ducking the head this time. The umpire said, "Nah, give it to me." Bowen Smith with the tackle.
Probably can't afford, Matt, to have Charlie Haley kicking 4 games plus.
Exactly.
Plus.
They've sacrificed something, haven't they? So Haley is there, applying pressure on Gokoa. There's Bull, hooks it around the body, gets some very valuable territory.
It almost seems like that they're playing a little bit of the old Pagans paddock here in Noble Park.
Just without the key forward.
Yeah.
It's just a paddock, no one's in it. So they do want to just get out the back of Balwyn here, who are pressing right up the ground. Beach got the hit out. Bowen Smith put his head over it and will go again. Yeah, it's interesting because now that there's players back here, it just doesn't look very threatening.
No, it doesn't.
So Beach hit out down, trying to come through. There was Tom Glenn. He'll get a free kick for holding the man. Has he gone inside more with Kyle Martin being out of the side this season? He hooks it inside forward 50. It's a nice looking kick. This will suit the Bulls. The ball's on the deck. Marson accepts the footy and the contact, and he probably wants a stoppage here eventually. He should get his way and does. So have a ball up about 30 metres out from the Noble goal. Left forward pocket for them, so close to the crowd here, right in front of us. It's just 6-2 at the moment. We've gone 10 minutes. It's building up to something. It's just tense at the moment. Noblet is around it for the Bulls, putting his head over the footy and coming through there nicely was McDonald. Tom Glenn's first kick is smothered. His second one isn't. Hooks it around the body. It's across the face for one behind. So, yeah, I was just saying, Tom Glenn is more of an outside player last year. Has he gone into the more contested stuff to fill a void?
Yeah, he certainly has. And also, obviously, they brought in McDonald hoping that would be able to help out Martin as well. And he got injured at the same time. So, certainly gives players like Glenn to roll into the mid a
Jared,
bit more.
in the stats centre?
Yeah, Matty, most of the stats are even so far in this sort of filling out contest, as has been noted, except the clearances. Balwyn lead that 5-2.
So Goebels, he's had a bit of the footy as well. Gets a kick forward, mark not taken, but it's still going to fall for Balwyn as they shift it out wide. There's that man Urban again. Now the tackle made there, good strong tackle coming in there from Luke Bull. And the umpire says we'll ball it up.
I see that matchup, Urban and playing wide of Sketcher. They're not going to play on each other. They're going to try and hurt each other by being damaging for both their sides.
That was the same when we saw the Roval Noble Park game with Sketcher McDonald.
So up it goes. Balwyn get a rear ruck win. It's been Beach who's been dominant at the ruck in the early stages as the ball is on the ground again.
So it's a straight head-to-head, Brash.
Yeah, so to speak.
Well, both sides are just back in their own.
Yeah, I think you got to in these contests.
Up it goes again, Marston into the ruck. You don't see that very often as the ball is hacked off the ground forward. But Balwyn are going to have it covered pretty much in the hands of Britton. Britton goes out wide. Good mark over there. Taken there by Wilson. Wilson goes down the line trying to find a target. There's about three, probably at least a 3-on-1 over there. And Noblet does well in the end, and he's quite happy just to see it over the boundary and a throw in. So 1-1-7 plays 2 behinds on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, and we've had 12 minutes.
This is probably, gentlemen, the game where you find out a lot more of your bottom 6 than you do about your top 6.
Free kick in the ruck contest. It's going to go the way of Jack Beach, who handballs it immediately to Jackson Casey, who evidently doesn't have a left foot because he hooked straight back into traffic and sends it high to centre half forward. Ben Marston does well to bring it to ground, and then a stray boot gets it inside Noble Ford 50, but sweeping there are the Tigers. That kick to Chevy Anderson is probably not what you want to do to the ruckman, send him a grubber. And nonetheless, Quaife got his handball back to a teammate whose kick is incorrect, or gone. Incorrect's probably not the term. Aaron Britton took off though without looking and got wrapped up. So the Bulls will get a reprieve. About 75 from home, and as we've mentioned, they don't have anyone really to just put it on the head, and Balwyn have got numbers back here, so they're going to have to be clever about the way they go about it. The kick is in the Ben Marston direction. He got hands to it. In the end was spoiled by Noblet, his own teammate, and then a quick kick out of there by Sean Cross. It's going to come back though. Noble have set up well behind the football. This kick should be marked by Pollux and is reaching well above his head, Gary Moorcroft style without the step ladder. He chips it down, looking for Cross. It was a dangerous kick. Casey got the handball back over the top, looking for Lambert. Let's get flick. It's just messy at the moment. Urban, short ball into the corridor, looking for his teammate and Sticker. He couldn't take the mark, and we're going to have a ball up dead centre of Balwyn Visy Park here. 14 minutes gone. It's 7-2, and it's just been a game riddled with errors so far.
So not one for the purists, but hopefully it settles down as Beach gets another head out, and the umpire's found a free kick in there somewhere as the whistle goes, and it's going to go the way of Noble. Sketcher has the footy in his hands as he goes long trying to find a target. Beautiful mark taken. Is that Pollux again?
Yep.
He's looked really good down back so far. Very, very solid. Chips it out wide, and Balwyn just happy to just slow it down.
That's why Sanderson had a good rap on him in our pre-match.
Urban, he's also been very good on the early stages. This one goes to about centre wing. Mark not taken there by Sticker as the ball goes to ground. Sketcher in there making the tackle, but the ball comes out and it's been, big tackle over there as we go boundary side.
Yeah, you can see, guys, Balwyn are having a lot of trouble getting the ball out of their defensive 50. The pressure from Noble Park's been really good so far.
Gaines got the hit out straight down to Casey. So why do we think that is, though? What are Noble doing in particular?
Well, on the stat sheet, Noble are leading the tackles 12-8. It's just one piece of food for thought.
That might be a free kick on the way of Bowen Smith. It is. Lockie Quaife straight into the back there of another Balwyn stalwart who's got it defensive side of the centre circles. He goes short, chipping ball to Urban. They made it look good. So this is the way they obviously play. They like to keep possession, try to open up a kicking lane. He goes in the Haley direction, one-on-one with Bull. Does well, kept the front spot and then kept his feet. Eventually got the football, but was under immediate pressure. And then they're doing well to not give away a free kick holding the ball both sides. Sketcher, though, eventually is done, and Jamie Goblitson, a premiership player with the Tigers, gets the free kick about... Well, he's outside the arc. How big is the arc here? Probably
about 40.
So he's 45 out. That kick can't be 15, but it's going to be paid for 15. Going the way of Bowen Smith, who must be off his line now. This is... How it's not play on is beyond me. He's eventually told to come back on his line.
He didn't want to take the set shot.
Yeah, which means it's play on.
Yeah,
he's off his line.
He certainly moved off it.
Can't be both of them. He goes short again. Again, that can't be 15 metres, but it's going to be paid. It is. And Charlie Haley will go back from about 38. So they've gone from 48 to 38 with 3 kicks. But Charlie won't be passing this one off. He's about... He'll kick from the arc. He'll probably run around a little bit. And knowing him, he'll put it through.
He'll need some goal kicking practice because I think the Swans need some blokes to go up there and kick some goals.
Was there any talk of mid-season, or is there a bit more of a long game in this? Because obviously travelling up to Sydney...
Well, again,
every so often. Someone's got to have asked him to do it.
Well, no one can kick goals. No one up in Swans can kick goals at the moment, so he may as well go up and try and kick them for him.
So Charlie from just inside the arc. Look pretty decent off the boot. It's coming back, but not enough. So Balwyn are 3 behinds now.
How old would he be?
Noble at 117. Isn't he Toby Green's mate? So if he's the same age as him, maybe a bit younger.
Yeah.
Anyway. This conversation, that's what's the game's going on. There's just nothing going on, just discussing Charlie Haley's age. You could Google it, Ryan. You've got your laptop
here. I do.
So ball goes back into play as we get back to the game. Taken over there by, who is that, number 24 for Noble? It's, can't say it's Scott, sorry. So now Noble with the footy, around about the half-back line. So game hasn't risen to any great height so far. 17 minutes gone. 117 plays 3 behinds as Noble send it up the line. It's going to be an easy, no, in fact, it's got over the back, which is interesting.
Here we go.
Now Stern, the goal kicker for Noble Park. Oh, and he had a great opportunity there in the goal square to put his second on the board, and I don't know how he missed from there, to be honest, but he did.
Probably had a bit more time there, Brash.
There was no
Probably
talk,
thought
though.
he was...
They didn't say he was clear.
So 128 plays 3 behinds. It's a bad miss, but nonetheless, Noble's still in front as they bring it back in, Balwyn.
So Britton goes short to Smith, whose kick is short of the man coming out at Wheaton, who did well to pick it up in the end. Did really well, and he's wrapped up by McDonald. So Balwyn going with the short chips a lot, Brash, and they're just not executing. So
No.
It's not really the game plan, it's more the execution at the moment.
Yeah, it's not a scintillating contest, but...
You can see what they're trying to do, because if they can get some run on the ball with the 3 forwards they've got.
But neither side are really punishing each other for mistakes made,
No.
though.
Well, I think it's hard for Noble to do it without a power forward, and then Balwyn could do it. They just can't get it down there. So a deft little tap there. I think it was from Glenn. Got it to Sketcher, who kicks it to the fat side. Coming at it here is Scott. Couldn't bring it down. Mark could be paid to the Tigers. It's not. And then eventually Britton gets the handball off to Oakes, who wants his left foot. The kick is smothered beautifully by Stern, who's been everywhere early. Little left football from Casey. Won't be anywhere near far enough. Britton sockers it off the ground. Now handball came out from Glenn, eventually find its way out wide there to the man in Luke Nelson, who sets sail for home and kicks an absolute worldie.
That's a good one.
35 metres out, hooking it around the corner under immense pressure there, Luke Nelson. He's a skinny man, but that's a beautiful kick of the football. So they've kicked both their goals from there, the Bulls. And they really do deserve to be up by 11 points. They're 2-2-14 ball and just the 3 behinds. We've gone 19 minutes in this first quarter.
Well, they have worked hard, Ryan, to keep their ball inside their own forward 50. And it's, like Matt said, Balwyn are just butchering the ball when they get the... And can't find any clean air or hit a target.
Well, they had 4 or 5 plays behind the ball there, but their kicks coming out of that back 50 haven't been able to hit up targets, and that's partly due to the pressure from the Noble Park forwards.
Yeah. So back into play. We're just about into time on at the end of this first quarter. Sketcher gets a funny old kick out of the congestion, bouncing out towards the far side, just around about the arc. The ball on the ground, picked up over that little handball through. Noble to get it forward again. Oh, good work. Nice work by Keane. Gets his kick away now. There's a whistle, and it's going to be a downfield free kick. So, didn't really see what happened there, if anyone else did.
Yeah, the replay's on now.
Replay, and
he gets his kick away. He absolutely mungs it. I think he thought about going for goals.
No, he was taken late. So
yeah, I think he's paid in the back rather than late. You can sort of see it.
So, it's going to be another shot at goal for Noble Park. If they can get this one, they'll be absolutely thrilled. They probably would have gone into this game, or definitely went into this game as underdogs. There's the kick on its way, and it's through. Is that Noblet, boys?
No, it's Stern again.
Stern again,
2 for Stern.
So 2 for Stern, and Noble jump out to a very handy lead coming to the end of this first quarter. Well, we've got a few minutes to go, but 3-2-20 plays 3 behinds on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, and they're well worth that lead, Brash.
They are. They're in a good lead. Jared, what have you got there in the stats?
So Noble Park are definitely leading the inside 50s 12-7. They just haven't taken a mark inside 50. They're compensating for that really well for their ground level play.
All their goals are going to be scrappy, I think, today, Noble. That's the way they want this game played. Just they don't have the height to play a real shootout style, but so far it's working. Not really a clearance at all, and then a couple of handballs ends up in the way of Noble Park. McDonald's kick's beautiful, and it's a good mark taken by Luke Nelson. Plays on immediately. Hooks it inside forward 50. Can the big man Scott get there? He can, but late, and Pollux comes across and takes a really strong mark. He's been Balwyn's best player, I'd say, so far.
Easily.
Yep. Goes across the ground to Wilson. They're being hemmed in so deep. Britton's got it now. He's only 20 metres from his own goal. They just can't seem to get any real speed on the ball or any real territory. So Britton will play on, and he wants to go long down the line. But the kick holds up in the breeze. Remember, Noble are kicking with a fairly, I don't know how strong the breeze is. Josh and the boys on the boundary, how strong would you say this breeze is?
I'd say probably 3 or 4 goals, the breeze. So Noble have gotten their share in this first quarter.
Right. So Anderson got a handball away to Oakes, who tries to keep it in play, but will have another ball in defensive side of the wing for the Tigers.
I'd like to know, Ryan, how many total kicks the Balwyn have had in this quarter, the percentage of them that have been under 20 metres. I reckon it'd be over 50%.
Mate, there'd be a few under 10, Brash.
Umpire needs a new rule.
Well, don't they claim that the grass at the MCG is mowed 15 metres?
Yeah,
so I've heard that. I don't know how that would work. But 15 metres is a lot shorter than you think, isn't it? Although when you're running or doing something like that, Brash, it can feel longer. So it's.
I wouldn't know. I don't know how to run.
So Noble get another scrappy clearance. Gobleton ends up with the footy at centre half back, and he's wrapped up by Luke Nelson. So we're into time on, 22 and a half gone. Noble 3-2-20, Balwyn 3 behinds. Anderson against the well undersized Marson, but Marson ends up crumbing it. Got a handball out the back of the pack, looking for Matthew Nelson. He can't gather it. And we'll have another stoppage after Jamie Ridd piled in. So Jamie Ridd was probably one of the exciting young halfback flankers in recent times. Cross gets the clearance for Balwyn. Haley ends up with the crumb but couldn't gather it under immediate pressure from Gaines. Lyle got a handball away. Eventually they flick it out to Cross, who has time and space. His chipping kick should be intercepted by Powell. It isn't. Goebbels did well to create a contest, but eventually the Bulls will rebound through Riat Powell. Handball to Casey, who dropped what he should have taken. Got a handball to Stern, who's already kicked 2 today. And he kicks a chaotic ball forward. Numbers flushing back. Ben Marston does beautifully, takes the mark. Running back with the flight, plays on, open goal square, set sail for home, and he's hooked it. That's probably been their easiest shot of goal.
Yeah, it probably actually has, compared to the other ones they've kicked on the boundary. So
Ben Marston has been doing well as a quasi-tall key position player because he's been rucking and he's done really well there. But he kicks it behind. Bulls 3-3-21, Balwyn 3 behinds. We've gone 23 and a half minutes.
So definitely a wasted opportunity for the Bulls.
Definitely.
So Britton, I think Marston probably had a bit more time than he realised. Now Britton takes it away from the goal square, sends it down the line. Can they get the big men jumping over there? They can. It's been knocked down there. Nelson almost got hands on it, and it's on the ground and it's been well and truly wrapped up. So we've played 23 and a half. What have we had? 6 goals in this quarter, so that will be a relative.
Whoa. 3. We've had a lot of shots. We've had a lot of shots.
Sing double, my friend.
I'm looking at the behinds and the goals, so 3 goals, so it won't be an overly long quarter.
There's been a lot of stoppages, though.
There has, true. So umpire tried it on the far side. So reasonable crowd in here, not a huge by any stretch.
No, it's not Good Friday levels, is it?
No.
A lot of people go away in the weekend.
That is true. And having just been musing about how long the quarter will be, it's not as long as we thought. So 24 minutes it was, and the siren has gone. So the end of the first quarter, and the Bulls 3-3-21 lead Balwyn 3 behinds.
Yeah, interesting first quarter there. Noble Park certainly deserved their lead at quarter time. I think they outworked Balwyn in the midfield, and I thought their tackling on the Balwyn ball carrier at every instant was really tough and mean. I think Balwyn, they were just trying to play too cute, I reckon. I just sort of, too many short kicks, not kicking the ball long, using their big forwards to their advantage.
Absolutely. The goal kickers, quick before we go to the stat centre, 2 to Josh Stern and 1 to Luke Nelson. Pretty much all of them from snaps or some sort of scrappy goal, but we'll go to Jared Beanland in the stat centre first.
Yeah, just on what you were talking about there, Brash, the pressure on the ball carrier from Noble Park. They're leading the tackles 20-12 currently, and that's definitely being shown out there on the field.
Yeah, thank you very much. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, second quarter action from Balwyn Visy Park, where it's the Tigers 3 behinds, Noble Park 3-3-21.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. Let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $200 a year on water and energy bills. Shower shorter. Save water. Authorised by the Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.
Sprained your ankle bursting through the banner? Broke a finger high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
The first time I met the team at Tobin Brothers Funerals, I felt like I'd known them for years. They're so caring, honest and passionate. James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals, sums it up best when he says,
"Every day our people get out of bed to assist client families in their absolute time of need. Our people love what they do, and you will not find a more highly trained group of people than those at Tobin Brothers."
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Hi, I'm Ben Desson from Montrose Football Netball Club, and when I need a new kit for a night out, I head over to Eastland. But Eastland is more than a shopping centre. They support a range of community organisations and have been major partners of the Eastern Football Netball League since 2018. Thanks, Eastland.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season, bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to Balwyn for the big place this afternoon. Of course, the big guys, I keep saying Queen's birthday. It's hard to get used to, but King's birthday, of course, it is. And it's Noble Park with the lead at quarter time. 3 goals, 3:21 to 3 behind. It'll be very interesting to get the thoughts of the coaches, which we will do in a moment. But boys, Noble Park well with their lead.
Yeah, they have. They've deserved their lead. As I just said, I think they've, like Jared says, they've worked hard and and the stats are showing that at the moment. I just think that Balwyn are just going to have to stop lowering their eyes and probably go a bit longer and a bit more direct to their key forwards instead of trying to pinpoint, accurate passes every 20 metres to try and keep possession of the ball. You keep doing that, you're not going to be able to score and win a game of football.
It probably ends up being a game of chicken to an extent here. I don't think Balwyn will go away from that, especially not in the first after one quarter. So it's on Noble Park to maintain the pressure that they brought in that first quarter, isn't it, Brash? Because if they do drop off, you can see what Balwyn are going to try and do. Because if Balwyn can get a bit of space out of defence and create one-on-ones for Haley, Lyle or Gobles, one of the three, it's going to be a long day for the Noble defenders. But so far, the team defence from the Bulls has been the thing that's put them in this lead. And of course, Balwyn are kicking with the breeze now, which according to Josh and Josh and Dylan is a 3-goal one. So at the moment, you could argue that they've not really gained that much of an advantage, but they've definitely found the blueprint.
So just get some quick stats from Jared, because it was an interesting first quarter, and I think the inside 50s were well and truly in Noble's favour, Jared.
They absolutely were. They lead that 15-8, yet without having taken a mark inside 50, which is definitely showing what the advantage at least Balwyn have up forward of their tools. Noble Park have also taken the lead in the clearances. They were down 5-2 at a certain point during the first quarter, and now they lead at 7-6. So they've gotten on top of the centre, the midfield there.
Quickly down to the boundary.
Got Steve Hughes alongside me, fellas. Steve, a really good start kicking with the break.
Look, I think back end of the quarter we sort of equalised around the ball a little bit more, so I thought Balwyn were winning a fair bit of inside footy early in the game, but probably after the 10-minute mark we started to equalise that, get some entries, and our forwards have been pretty busy. So.
And what was the main message heading into the second quarter, kicking against the breeze this time around?
Just main thing is just to win that inside footy. I think it's critical today. So, they demonstrated earlier they had a lot of entries through their, inside contested ball wins, so we've just got to equalise that for this quarter.
Good luck for the rest of the day, Steve.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Steve. Always good with his time, Steve.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
good.
very generous.
Just one of the nicer men going around.
Just an update at Croydon North Emlock, 21 to 48. Chernside Park leading that one at quarter time.
What's going on with Cherney this year? See, I've been out of the loop. What's going on? I don't know. Beach is up. Second quarter's underway. Got the hit out down. Urban tried to get his kick away. He's going to be pinged. Incorrect disposal. So Noble starting how they finished the first quarter. Horton Milne goes inside forward 50. It'll drop short. Marson had the front spot. Couldn't take the mark. Sketcher gathers. Was blocked by his own teammate initially. And then was wrapped up in a tackle. And we'll have a free kick going the way of Balwyn in defence as we go back down to the boundary.
Yeah, guys, I spoke to Brenton Sanderson at the quarter-time break there, and he was just cool as you like, really. He wasn't worried about the scoreboard. He did mention the pressure of the Bulls, but, yeah, very relaxed.
Thank you, Dylan. He does strike me as a relaxed character, Brenton. As I mentioned before, on SEM for Jared, he's always
very relaxed.
Always affable. So the mark is taken there, an intercept mark taken there by Hudson Thomas, 2 first names. He goes inside forward 50 again. It'll drop short because of the breeze. And coming across to take the mark is Gobleitson. So you'd think the breeze would actually, the way Noble play should suit them. But they've been kicking high both occasions this time. So the mark's taken at centre-half back for Balwyn, and they swing it out wide. They've got a runner out here who takes the mark there, and Fraser Hicks. Taking a bit of time, though, to get back off his mark. He had Oakes in board, but he goes back to Gobleitson, who's at centre-half back. So, again, Noble just cutting off the easy avenues for Balwyn, who will want to keep their hands on the footy. This short kick comes out wide to Liam McDermott. He's at right half back, right in front of Steve Hughes in his coach's box. He'll be very happy as they lead by 18 points. And McDermott's kick just straight off the side of the boot. Out onto centre wing, almost bounced over the fence into the Bowls Club. And the free kick will go the way. I believe it's going to go back to Hudson Thomas here. Dead centre wing for Noble Park, who lead by 18 points.
So, I'm not sure if it's just me, but the wind seems to have got up a little bit out here, which is interesting.
Conspiracy theories, Besto.
Hudson Thomas chips the ball back inside, quick hand off. Hudson Thomas gets it back now. He goes to about centre half forward, right over the back. Marson chasing, but he won't get there. And it's going to be cut off over there by Balwyn, and they'll rebound off half back. Kick out towards the far side. Might be a little strong, and it has gone out of bounds. Over there on the, is it the cricket nets over there? Not quite sure, but anyway, it's out, and we'll have a throw in. So what can Balwyn do to get themselves back into this game? They trail by 18, not an insurmountable lead, but they've got a bit of work to do as Noble really dominated for most of that first quarter. Ball comes in, it doesn't really, no one gets really an advantage, but it's fallen for Balwyn and they go forward. Haley climbed high, but it might be unrealistic. Or is he going to get the free kick? Just wait. He's got the free kick.
Bulls free kick.
Hudson Thomas.
I was going to say, if it had gone to Haley, that would have been...
Oh, no, it has.
He has.
It's not Haley, though, is it?
No, it's not Haley.
Sticker.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that was for, but anyway, as ball over on the far side, Balwyn will look to go inside 50. They've got targets. Just looking around now, they do go inside 50. Who's going to be the one to get underneath it? Over the top of Hicks, and there's another whistle. In fact, it was Lyle, sorry. And it's a free kick this time to Noble. So they'll be able to bring it out. Dangerous kick. McDonald does pretty well in the end to get his hands on it. He goes up the line, but he kicks to about a 2-on-1. Low percentage play. Going in there was Gaines. Gaines fighting hard to try and get his hands on it. Did really well in the end because he was totally outnumbered. Now Bodie Lambert brings it. Waves inside. Goes for the home. What's he look? Well, it's just going to hit across the face. And it's a goal. It's a goal. It's been beautifully snapped up there by Nelson. I thought the kick was going to go through. Bodie Lambert it was who had the kick, and Nelson just lackluster defence from Balwyn, and Nelson pounced on it. He's put it through for his second, and it's 27-3, 4-3-27 to 3 behinds in the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 3.5 gone.
One of the very few balls, Ryan, that set up for a player to pick up and kick.
Well, it worked out well for him, but that's the sort of what they need to do, the very quick transition and get it over the top where you've got the runners and you know, that somewhat scrappy goal as we go boundary side.
Yeah, the Bulls just seem to be playing the conditions a little bit better there. Just that knock-on footy, rather where the Balwyn guys are trying to over-possess the ball a bit too much.
Urban got the clearance, centre-half forward. Stevenson went up against a bigger opponent in Thomas, and he got the spoil out, and eventually Horton Milne, and within one kick, they're now at centre-half forward because Marston's taken the mark from Horton Milne's delivery. He'll go low inside forward 50. In the end, he didn't even go inside forward 50. He's gone directly across the ground, and Lockie McDonald is under pressure and should have maybe got a free kick there. Coming in with Fraser Hicks, and then eventually they lay a tackle and might get their free kick of their own. They do. Nathan Oakes wrapped up by Bodie Lambert. So again, just that scrappy football, just getting it inside with this small forward line. Lambert plays on immediately, goes inside forward 50. Can anyone take a mark for the Bulls? No, they can't. Coming across the side, both Balwyn players spoil each other. And we'll have a stoppage. 15 minutes out directly in front. Jack Francis is playing sort of defensively. He could be someone, if Noble wanted to, could play as a key forward. But at the moment, things are going well for the Bulls. Why change it? Gaines is hit out. They end up with the football. Incidental contact, nothing doing. Liam Scott at the bottom of that pack. And we'll have another ball up top of the goal square for the Bulls. They lead 27-3. Their forward pressure around the ground, well, their pressure around the ground has just been beautiful regardless. Cross, chucked it up the middle. Goebbels takes a good strong mark in the centre circles. This is a chance for Balwyn to go quickly. They do. Out wide in the Haley direction. Could get a free kick for front on contact. Didn't in the end. And then Noblet does well. Wrapped up Haley. Haley got his handball away just in time. Noblet goes in for a second effort and should wrap it up for a stoppage. That's a great individual effort there from Nathan Noblet.
Boys on the boundary. Just watch Haley look to be in a bit of trouble.
He's just limping a little bit, isn't he? But
I think he swore on the way out, so...
A corked hip or something like that. Urban, handball across. Little kick out of there. Stevenson front spot. The spoil came across, and then Luke Bull. Well, he had 3 Noble players there waiting for that snap, but unfortunately, Vim hooked onto the chest of the Balwyn player, who's under pressure, and puts it inside forward 50. 1-on-1. Morrison and Lyle. Morrison does well, and it will go through for a behind. And Balwyn, they're 4 behinds. Noble 4-3-27. We've gone 6 minutes in this first quarter as we go down to Josh Ward on the boundary.
And Charlie Haley has gone straight to the bench.
Thank you.
That could be disastrous for Balwyn. Good from Noble Park's point of view, though. It's Ryan Morrison brings the ball back into play. 27-3, so a 4-goal margin at the moment. And if Haley's out of the game, that will certainly make it very interesting indeed. In the contest, it's pretty tight in there. Stern was there. Now it's over on the far side, picked up over there, but it's going to go out of bounds. So it's been a scrappy game for the most part.
That side of the Balwyn Park looks a bit heavy underfoot.
It does. Another game where half the game has been played on the far side of the ground. It's amazing how many times that happens. Now the ball is in. Now it's knocked down there by Chevy Anderson. Now towards that boundary again, and I think it's over in the hands of Urban. So umpire to throw it in. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Haley. We'll just get hopefully some news on him very shortly. May just be a corky or something like that as the ball goes in. Beach didn't get to the front spot that time. He was beaten by the big man Chevy Anderson. Ball on the ground. Sketches in there looking for it for Noble Park. Does come out in the end. Once again, it's all a bit untidy and it's knocked forward towards the boundary. Another throw in on the far side.
Boundary.
As we get into the boundary side, I think that's Dylan down there.
It's Josh here, Besto. One thing I noticed this quarter, Noble Park, they don't have anyone in the hole when Balwyn goes inside 50, whereas Balwyn in that first quarter, they do have someone looking to intercept. So an interesting move there, I reckon, for Steve Hughes.
So Anderson hit out straight down to Smith, got his kick away just in time, picking it up. Here is Jamie Reid, handball towards the boundary line. Stevenson's around there. Clever handball from Reid, because that's where the goals have been kicked from so far today. And we'll have another ball in. That was almost straight out of the playbook, that one.
They still can't break the shackles, though, Balwyn, can they?
No, Noble, their intensity and pressure has just been unrivaled so far. So thrown in Lyle in the ruck this time. He and Beach race for the shallow throw in, picking up his cross, handball blindly over his shoulder. Could have worked for Smith. It might have been taken high by Luke Bull. Umpire might have been blindsided. We'll have a ball up about 25 out, slide angle for Balwyn, who desperately need a goal. Although if they kick a goal here, it'll bring them back to 17 points. Thrown up again. Beach. Tap down. Bull. Casey. Handball over the top looking for Noblet, who's been pretty impressive when he's got his hands on the football. Hooks it around the corner to Ben Marson, who's been equally impressive. Handball to Horton Milne was just a little bit too hot for the premiership star. His handball back to Francis, who swings it out wide to Hudson Thomas, who's been everywhere this quarter. Sketcher, hard running. They've got a 2-on-1 on the outer side here. The kick is beautiful. Finds its way into the chest of Luke Nelson. He'll play on. Wheel around onto his right boot. Looking inside forward 50. A number of targets, but in the end, all he can pick out is Aaron Britton of the Tigers, who saves the day. And Balwyn will start again. They'll go to the outer side where it's a 1-on-4, but the one is Jeff Goebbels, and he takes the mark. If you can go quickly, they've got numbers inboard, but they're slowed up by the Noble defenders. The work rate, very impressive by the Bulls, and Goebbels has to go long down the line in the Jordan Lyle direction. Got to the front spot. Morrison got the fist and then gathered it. He'll get the handball back from Casey. Flicks the handball over the top for Noblet on centre wing. His handball back inboard to Reed Powell. He's chased down by Alex Urban. And Balwyn get a free kick on centre wing. 9.5 minutes gone. It's the Tigers 4 behinds. Noble 4-3-27.
Lyle struggling to get into the contest as well this afternoon.
So Alex Urban, I wonder if they call him Keith, gets the kick forward. Well, that's going to be holding the ball surely. And it's been paid. Some of the home fans.
Holding the man.
Holding the man. Okay.
Yeah, but that left me a bit perplexed.
A few hometown decisions starting to happen here as Kyle Elliott has the ball just outside the arc. He's going to have a crack. Here he comes. He's a fair distance out. I'm not sure what the wind's, if he's kicking into the wind or not. It's on its way. It won't have the accuracy. And there's another whistle. Now, which way is this one going to go?
Lyle, free kick.
Free kick to Jordan Lyle. So,
and there's an extra 25.
And, and the 25 as well. So
Can't miss this, can he?
We always say that. I wouldn't have thought so.
So this will be an absolute gift for Lyle. He's right out in front. I reckon even I could kick this one. And he puts it through. So much needed goal for Balwyn. They get their first of the day. Hard to believe we're saying that sort of into the second term. But 4-3-27 leads 1-3-9 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, and we are 10 minutes gone second term.
Rash, I certainly thought the free kick that was there was being held onto by the arm as we go boundary side to Dylan.
Yeah, I got just on Charlie Haley there. He's having the ankle re-strap, so it looks like a bit of an ankle injury.
Thanks, Dylan. Do we know if that's any history there?
If he's getting it re-strapped, it's obviously not that bad because he'll be coming back on as we go to Jared Beanland quickly in the stats centre.
Yep, tackles 10-4 in the favour of Noble Park.
I'll make it 11. Good chase by Glenn. Could have been a free kick after Oakes just sort of dropped the footy, but eventually Horton Milne extracts it and hooks it inside forward 50. Well done by the Balwyn defenders to get front spot, but it comes out the back to Liam Scott. He takes his bounce, runs to the goal square, immediate reply, Bulls. Fortuitous, yes. But nonetheless, a fifth goal for Noble Park. They're 5-3-33. Balwyn 1-4-10. We've gone 11 and a half minutes here in the first quarter.
That's what you want to do. As soon as the opposition, you want to hit back and hit back very quickly. And that's exactly what Noble Park did. It only took them less than a minute to respond to that goal. And they are certainly controlling the contest this afternoon, Ryan.
Absolutely.
Well, they're just making sure there's numbers at every contest. They're not allowing any one-on-ones because obviously the sum of their parts is greater than the individuals, I think, for Noble Park. And look, it was a great effort from Oscar Lunny there. He got the spoil to the ball, but yeah, hit the deck and Liam Scott took his advantage straight away. So Beach went up, got his hit out down, but eventually Balwyn get the clearance through Urban, who hacks it high. Goebbels will fly. Meeting the sandwich there, Goebbels. Stevenson hacked it out of mid-air. Got the handball out from Goebbels. Stevenson fires for home and misses. It was an awkward distance there. He had Lyle on the lead, but Lyle was 3 metres away, so I don't think it would have been paid a mark. But nonetheless, Balwyn 1-5-11. Noble Park 5-3-33. We have gone 12 and a bit minutes here in the second quarter.
So in the hands of McDonald, who will bring the ball back into play for Noble. 5-1. There's the ball is out towards the wing. Up they fly. Beach it was. He got hands to it, but couldn't hang on to it. Balwyn have got it again as they try to go inside 50. Good work there by Francis. He managed to get it on the ground, but it's still bouncing around. Trying to get hands up. Snap for goal. How does it look? It's off target. The goal umpire moving fairly quickly, and it's gone through for another minor score. So some wasted opportunities as we go down to the boundary.
Just looking at Charlie Haley running before, it still looks a little ginger, that ankle, so we'll keep a close eye on that one.
Might have to give him a jab of the jungle, do you say, Josh?
He's possibly just going to try.
No jabs, Brash.
Try it out and see how it goes.
No jabs.
Not that we're condoning that sort of thing. It's Essendon all over again as Morrison gets it and he bangs it down the line. Up they fly. Plenty of Balwyn defenders there. Picked up nicely by Stern. A couple of goals for him today as he goes down the line, but that's going to be easily cut off by Britton. Balwyn rebound.
What about the magic spray, Brett?
So we'll allow the spray. So Britton goes inboard to Jamie Goodleadson. So you can tell that they obviously want to move the defensive arm, but Noble have just been in sync with this play. So the kick from McDermott is to centre wing. Anderson takes a run and jump at it and takes a good clean mark. This has been Balwyn's best piece of play today. That kick inboard, though, is a rush one, and the Bulls get a turnover. Glenn slaps it on the boot. Luckily for Balwyn, Godleadson is back there. Kevin Keane, the undersized key forward there. Unfortunate not to get his hands on the footy. Daniel Quinn takes the mark. Defensive side of the centre circles, and he pops it to the Jamie Reid, who's worked his way to centre half forward. Ball hits the deck. Quay put his head over it. Tapped it forward. Elliott, little handball, was looking for Stevenson. Didn't quite get the connection he wanted.
Boundary.
And we'll have a ball up 20 metres out from the Balwyn goal as we go boundary side with Josh Ward.
And Charlie Haley is back on. He just run that goal injury off. So I think we'll assume it's the magic spray that they used, Rash.
So Beach, tap down, Casey, Horton Milne, McDonald, Horton Milne again. Kick. Was it touched off the boot? Umpire says no, it's not. So it's going to be a free kick going the way of Britton here. He's about 45, 50 from home, and he's telling the boys, get down on the line, I'm having a ping. And he looks like a pretty decent ball user himself. So They'll go back there. Lyle and Anderson, obviously the threats in the air. And Haley on the ground as well. But looks like Britain's going to run around a little bit and from about 50 metres out, head towards goal. Pretty sweet connection. Might not get there. Lyle flies, but nonetheless it was skinny. And Jack Beach makes sure of it. So 1-7-13 Balwyn now. Noble Park 5-3-33. We've gone 15 minutes in this second quarter. So they're starting to work their way back into it. Brash just can't capitalise.
Yeah, at the moment it's being done by single digits.
So Hudson Thomas with the kick in. As the ball goes to ground. It's bouncing around over
Gone.
there. Ballman have got it, but that's really holding the ball free kick, and it is Pollux it was. He was caught in possession. Really good tackle from his opposite number, McDonald. And it's going to be Noble with the free kick. So 33-13, 20-point margin with 15 minutes gone. Nice kick down the line. Mark taken by Glenn. Tommy Glenn as we go quickly to the boundary.
There's that one again from Balwyn. They're just trying to overuse the footy a bit too much. They want that perfect kick inside 50, and the pressure around the ball's just been great from the Bulls.
So Josh Stern, who's been really good today, he's kicked a couple of goals and he's done some good things. Back to McDonald. Able to go inside the, well, not quite inside the 50 as the ball is knocked down, but it's going to fall for them. Sketcher hooks it around towards the pocket. Ball on the ground, roamed over there nicely, but it was Nelson who had possession. He couldn't keep it in, and it's gone out of bounds in the forward pocket. So 33-13, 20-point margin, 16 minutes played in this second term. Ball not making a lot of leeway. Many scores, as we mentioned before, tend to be in the single digits as the ball is thrown in. As it's in the hands, and this is a snap for goal. Is it going to go through? It is! Off the boot there of Liam Scott. He's kicked 12 goals for the season, make that 13 because he's got another one, and Noble Park extend their margin. Let's just watch the replay and see what happened.
What a horrible handball by Oakes.
He had 3 Balwyn blokes. That's happened a couple of times where there's been 3 Balwyn players and they managed to pick out the one Noble player.
So terrible turnover, 39-13, and we've had 16 and a half gone in the second term.
Over to Jared in the stats centre.
Yeah, Balwyn is starting to even up the inside 50 count. They're at 8-7 for the quarter after being 8-16 last quarter, but the efficiency just isn't quite there.
So they get another clearance here at Noble Park, but it's marked down there this time by Oscar Lunny, whose kick is a shocker. I don't know if it went 3 metres. And then wrapping up in the tackle there was Lachlan McDonald. So 6-3-39 plays 1-7-13. You still feel like Balwyn can get a run on, but there's just no fluency to their game. They're not being allowed to play fluently by Noble. Marson, handball out wide, Sketcher, clean pick-up, Casey, McDonald, short chipping ball. Kevin Keen's the target just over his head. Going back under pressure is Pollux from Keen. Keen does well. Got his hands on the footy, hooked it back into the corridor, but it was smothered. And eventually Balwyn come out through Wilson, who goes down the line and finds a target there in Bowen Smith, who's got it at right half back. He goes short and finds Sean Cross. So they obviously want to keep possession. It's pretty open inside Balwyn forward 50. The kick is hooked towards the centre of the ground. Ridd does well to bring it to ground. Haley overran the footy, and then Gaines is sitting on top of it. He's tackled by Jamie Ridd. And the umpire says, give it to me. So we're about 55 out from the Balwyn goal. Luke Bull dashes back to get back on Charlie Haley. The Tigers at 1-7-13. They trail by 26 points against this Noble Park side. Glenn got the clearance, handballed it up in the air. Casey does well under immediate pressure. We'll have another stoppage.
Just around the grounds, Churnside Park 66-25, Corinne North Emlock, and Surrey Park 36-24 to the Magpies 139.
Elliott and Gaines. Gaines timed his jump better, got the hit out. McDonald, handball to Sketcher, who just burns off his man there in Pollux and then hooks it back on the left boot to a one-on-one. Marston lost his feet. The ball bounces out the back. This is how Noble get their goals. Stern's going to run on it. No, it's Nelson. Nelson runs in, kicks his third. Just out of nothing.
Just running all over the top of them at the moment.
It's just, I don't think Balwyn know how to defend. Balwyn are obviously a structured side, so when you're playing this game style, which to the eye is not very good, Balwyn don't know how to defend it, Brash, because that's just got out the back again. Nelson's too quick, but it was just a hack kick forward. Ball hit the deck, another goal. Noble 7-3-45, Balwyn 1-7-13, 19 minutes gone. Second quarter, we'll go to Jared first.
Yeah, we've got the intercept mark count is 10-4 in favour of Balwyn, and it just backs up your point, Matty, in that they can defend well when the player's predictable, but they've got nothing when it's a scrap and the goals are coming from ground level.
We'll go to the boundary quickly after Sketcher pumps it inside forward 50. Can they get another one, the Bulls? Can they take a mark? I still don't think they've got a mark inside forward 50, do they, Jared?
They don't need to.
No, they don't need to. So free kick going the way of Balwyn. This one is Len McDermott. We'll go to the boundary.
Yeah, guys, just on that point as well, Balwyn, they've been totally fine in the air, but how many goals have we seen go over the back and just that open goal?
So the chaos game working well for Noble as it goes out towards ball. He got a hands to it, but couldn't quite take it. Casey couldn't quite get there. Now it's in the hands of Balwyn, and they'll come forward. They desperately need a goal. Good mark taken over there. That's Lyle. Now it's in the hands. He hooked across the face at goal, and that's out on the bounce and full, I don't know.
One behind.
Through from behind. Some of the crowd getting a bit restless down below.
Your Noble mates are right below us, I think. Besso.
Was there a free kick? Was there told to play on advantage there? Because I don't know why Lyle wouldn't just take the set shot from there.
So Thomas it is, who thumps it out towards the centre wing position. Ball bouncing around. One of the Noble Park players bumped off the football there, and the umpire says nothing doing.
A free kick.
It is a free kick going to Balwyn. They almost get themselves in trouble. Urban just got out of it. There's the kick in the contest again on the grounds. Taken there by Nelson, I think, on the bottom of that. And the umpire says we'll have a ball up.
How is that one not paid 15? But if you kick that inside forward 50 to a leading forward, they would have paid that 15. Like, really?
So Anderson won the hit out. It's there again for kicked in a huge smother there as the ball comes out. It's the most untidy piece of play just about in the whole game. Now the ball off to Horton Milne. Horton Milne goes for it. It's not going to sit there. Here's a chance. Noblet. No, he's missed. Well, a golden opportunity there. That's a huge miss for Nathan Noblet. 11 goals so far this season. Could have made it 12, but he misses. And the margin now out to 32-7-4-46.
Do you imagine if Marston and Noblet had converted those two shots?
Well, it'd be game over, bro.
Just about.
But to be honest, it's another goal where it's just when the ball goes up in the air, they're not even trying to mark it. They're just trying to make sure Balwyn don't
get
mark
it to ground.
Because once it hits the deck, they're all over them. Noblet really should have finished that one. That one was a lot easier than Marston's. But here they go, Rid for Balwyn up the line. It's all Noble Park though. Ben Marston, he has been very impressive though, despite that miss in the first quarter.
I know he's been very good at.
Because they're missing so many players from their best side, and they're just absolutely dominating ball at the moment. That kick though is about 50 metres. And again, once we say, whenever it's a high long ball, Balwyn are just mopping it up. But it's when it hits the deck like this one, as Balwyn try to switch, and then running into trouble there was Fraser Hicks. McDonald got the tackle. Horton Milne chased down Jamie Reid. McDonald goes back and picks it up. Little handball to Lambert, hooks it inside forward 50. This is the dangerous ball, but Britain does well and marks. And they'll switch immediately, but their kicking has let them down today. Wilson to the outer side. Goebbels and Francis. Francis might have given away a free kick there. He did. He was a bit late to that football. But he did stop the momentum of ball in there. And this is what Noble want to do. They'll clog it up down the line. Short kick from Goebbels to Urban.
See, that's play on for mine.
Well, the other one was play on. It was probably longer. Urban's been called to play on now. He goes short. Doesn't make the distance, does he? No, he does. To cross. But they're not going anywhere. And really, with their height, you'd think they'd just do what Cross has done and just hook it down the line. But in the front spot, he's Gaines. What would I know? He marks defensive 50 for the Bulls. They lead 46-14. 22 and a half minutes gone in the second quarter. And there's Tarzan Thomas was going to lay a shepherd on the mark. He's been told to get out of the 5. And Gaines will go high and long up the line. The Breeze will catch it, push it out of bounds on the full. So here's a chance for Balwyn. Centre wing.
Fresh, their stars up forward have just had no influence. Lyle hasn't looked likely.
No.
Well, they haven't moved it quick enough as they get it in here. Here's a chance. Lyle came from the side. Free kick. Advantage. Goal. I think you've got to bring that back, don't you? No, he's paid the goal. He's paid the goal, but Alex Urban kicks the goal. It's a well-finished goal, but everyone stopped. I don't know how that's advantage, but nonetheless, it's a goal to Alex Urban. I don't know what the free kick is actually going to be for there. I think it was going to go the way of...
Was it Jordan Lyle?
Jordan Lyle for a hold. But nonetheless, a much-needed goal for Balwyn there. 2-8-20. Noble Park 7-4-46. We've got 23 and a half minutes here in the second quarter.
Say they needed that one would be an understatement.
A bit of a spark.
Well, it was a tidy finish from Alex Urban, but yeah, obviously everyone was stopped. But Jared, Stat Centre?
Yeah, Noble Park have continued their ascendancy in the pressure. They lead the tackles 19-7 for the quarter.
So can Balwyn get another one before half-time? That'd really make it interesting. As they get it forward, now the ball in the hands of Francis. Francis goes out wide trying to find a target over there. It wasn't a great kick, but Nelson did okay. Picked it up, dumped it, but now he's turned it over, and Balwyn will come back. Nice mark taken there by Sticker. Sticker looking for someone to kick to. We've had 24 gone in this term, so maybe a couple of minutes left. As the ball goes long, mark taken over there. Good work by Goebbels. And he's pointing around.
No, he's having a shot.
He's going to have a go, surely. I was going to say he wouldn't surely give it off in this
How many
position.
did he kick from here before, Brash, you reckon?
I think he'd be about a 7 out of 10 strike rate from this area, Matt.
So not an easy kick, but if anyone's going to kick it, Jeff Goebbels would. That familiar approach. This will be massive if he kicks this. Suddenly he'll be back to 22 points. Runs around. Now he gets his contact on the ball. I tell you what, he's got it. You wouldn't back against him, and that's why, because Jeff Goebbels puts it through. That's his first of the day, and the margin is back to 22 points in the throes of half-time. 7-4-46 to 3-8-26 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 20-point margin, and we've had 25 minutes.
Matt, important couple of minutes here for Noble Park, because they've been on top of this game for the majority of the first half, but if they let another one go, that 14 points probably wouldn't be they'll lose the quarter. Yeah, the lead you'd want at half-time with the way they've been playing.
No. And if they can get a bit of connectivity going, they've clearly got the firepower to hurt Noble. Urban, who has been massive, took on one too many tacklers though, and he's wrapped up by Jake Gaines. So that is something Noble have just done. There's just yellow shirts everywhere whenever a Balwyn player gets it. So Gaines are good off to Jack Francis, who is undecided, and then just loops a handball over the top to the athletic ruckman, who slaps it on the left boot. And again, it's not pretty, but it works. Finds its way into the hands, I think, is that Liam Scott it is. He's kicked 2 goals, both from about 8 metres out.
Settle it down, Liam. That's what he's saying.
He's kicking into a fairly strong breeze, though, so I doubt he'll make the journey, but nonetheless, it is the steadier that Ryan alluded to the Bulls needing. I assume he's just going to pop it up, which will probably help Balwyn, given their aerial dominance today. So Scott, from just outside the arc, sets sail. It's way across the face. Big flies come from everywhere. Ball hits the deck. Britton, handball over the top, looking for Cross. Missed him. Gathering his Bodie Lambert. He hooks it around the body to the top of the square. Kevin Keane is the undersized forward there. A fist came across from the Balwyn defenders. And it'll be bundled over the line for a boundary throw-in. About 15 metres out from the Noble goal. They lead by 20 points here. And they still yet to take a mark inside forward 50, Jared?
Yep, they are. They've been a couple of marks just outside of the arc.
Just outside. So Anderson tapped it down to himself from that throw-in, because no one, I think, knew where it was going to be thrown in from. Handball from Lambert to Casey. Flicked it over the top, looking for Matthew Nelson, who hooks it to the top of the square. Balwyn should have the numbers. Britton flies and brings in a nice mark just in front of his own goal. So he's telling everyone to slow it down. I think it looks like Balwyn are happy to take this 20-point deficit into half-time. Regroup. Besto, as we eke ever closer to the half-time siren.
So right across the face of goals into the pocket. And Balwyn, as Matty said, just having to slow it down. They've managed to get themselves back into this game, so the last thing they want to do is give up a late one here and undo all their good work. Now the ball goes down the line. It is going to come back as well, because Noble have got hands on the football. Ryan Nelson, no, it's not Nelson, sorry, it's Francis. So Francis puts his boot onto it and sends it long into the claims of a mark, but there was too many hands on that one. That was never going to be paid. And the umpire says we'll have a ball up. So 27.5 gone, so can't be a lot of time to go. As the umpire throws it up, but can Noble pinch a late one here? No, they can't. The loudest siren in the history of football goes, and that is the end of the first half. And what an interesting half it's been. Balwyn have worked their way back into this game with a couple of goals, but it's Noble Park 7-4-46 to 3-8-26 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard half-time.
Yeah, another good quarter there by Noble Park. They just seem to they just run the ball nicely. And look, once again, from about the 20-minute mark, Ryan, Balwyn slowly working their way back into the contest.
Absolutely. Made it interesting for the second half. It's Noble Park 7-4-46 leading Balwyn 3-8-26.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Tobin Brothers Funerals wear their heart on their sleeve. Their clear and easy-to-use website and Memory Maker app make it easy for families to make an informed decision. Here's James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals.
We pride ourselves on being the most transparent funeral company. All pricing on goods and services are available on our website. It's all there for you to see and make very informed decisions when planning a loved one's funeral.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $200 a year on water and energy bills. Shower shorter. Save water. Authorised by the Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.
Sprained your ankle bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home, at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season, bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to the Eastland Match of the Round, Balwyn Park. At half-time here, it is Noble Park 7-4-46 with a 20-point lead, leading Balwyn 3-8-26. Few games around the grounds as well. Down in Division 4, Surrey Park leads Scoresby 4-8-32 to the Magpies 2-3-15. While Chirnside Park, very big lead over Croydon North Emlock 13-8-86 to 5-7-37. And joining us on the line is Blake Tennant, who's down at Heights Reserve this afternoon for the Montrose versus Mooroolbark marquee game there for Division 1. Blake, what's the score at half-time?
Currently, as it stands, it's Mooroolbark 2-5-15 to Montrose 5-6-38. So it's the half-time score.
Yeah, you might need to speak up a bit louder there. Just on the score, Blake.
Montrose 6-2-38 to Mooroolbark 2-5-17.
And how's the game being played out there? Obviously, Montrose with a bit of a lead. Have they been in control of the game for the first half, or does the scoreboard flutter?
Well, look, it's not the best game of football to be watching, to be honest with you. Look, for a start, most of the game's been played on the outer wing. Neither side seem to want to use the corridor. But at this stage, to be honest with you, Montrose should be 5 goals in front with all the opportunities they've had, but they haven't hit the scoreboard. In Mooroolbark's defence, they've been very great at the football. There's a lot going on behind the ball also in this game today. There's certainly a rivalry between those two clubs. But, it's just the bigger bodies of Mooroolbark at the moment, Montrose, at the moment, are controlling the game, but they need to get a little bit more accurate.
Ray, Josh here. There was a big build-up to this game, of course, as local rivals. Just how big is the crowd out there at Heights Reserve?
20.
Ray, are you still there?
Are you still there, Raymond?
Sorry?
We might. Is that you there, Ray?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, how big is the crowd out there at Heights Reserve? It's of course a local derby, so is it pretty big out there?
And look, I must say that there's a huge crowd out here today. As I said, it's a great rivalry between these two clubs, but it's just the bigger bodies of Montrose, and they're controlling the ball around the ground there. But I must mention one player for Mooroolbark who's been absolutely outstanding, and that is Austin Smith. He's been in and under at all the stoppages. He's had a heck of a lot of the ball. And I reckon he's had a lot of possessions too. So that's one bright light for Mirrabah at this stage. But I just feel as the game goes on, I just think the margin's going to get a bit bigger, and it'll be a big win to Montrose.
And some of the big inclusions as well from Mirrabah, Kane Noonan and Jared Gilby, just how much of an impact have they had on the contest so far?
Yeah, so Gilby actually picked
We might have to let you guys go. I think Blake's mic's a little quiet there. But, boys, thanks for giving us the update, and we'll cross to you after the game for the end of that result. Jumping back into this game, Noble Park with a 20-point lead, Balwyn kicking the last couple of goals there to get themselves back into the contest. But for most of that first half, Noble have played this really well. It hasn't been pretty footy, but they've certainly got the job done with those long kicks inside 50 and just getting over the back of those defenders and using it well, Dylan.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised by the state of play, to be honest. Like, heading into this game, Balwyn were the best team at converting their inside 50s into goals in the league. But that forward 50 pressure by Noble Park's just completely stopped that. They can't seem to get any fluidity on the ball at all. And it's really been Noble Park that have actually looked the more fluid side going forward.
Absolutely. And Josh, you look at this at 3 goals 8. They've had their opportunities in the second quarter. They looked a little bit better going forward. Are they going to be able to continue this into the third quarter against the Breeze, now back the other way?
I think so. You know, this is obviously their home ground as well, so they'd be very familiar with it. And I think they've played quite a few games to start the season out here at Balwyn Visy Park. So I expect them to come back. You know, they'll start hitting their chances, just given what we saw on Good Friday as well. Like when we were out here, they were often converting their chances inside 50, and often getting it inside 50 to the likes of Jordan Lyle. And yeah, I expect them to come back.
And he's probably been pretty quiet. The mark here before, I don't know if you guys saw on the boundary.
Yeah.
Was he called to play on?
No, he wasn't. I think the free kick was paid, and then he handballed it off to Haley. So I don't think
he gave it off
was
to a harder angle on Haley on the run there. But if you're a key forward, that's the sort of shot when you're down by 5 goals, you just need to go back and kick yourself.
Can I add, when Haley was moving towards the goal, he moved closer to the boundary line as well. So he made it a little harder on himself, did Haley. But still, yeah, you're right. I think Lyle should have gone back for the set shot. I can understand him wanting to handball it to a player of Haley's quality. But yeah, not the greatest decision there, Dylan.
Do you guys think that Balwyn in the second half, they're really going to have to just try to play a little less pretty?
But potentially. I mean, compared to Noble Park, they do have those options up forward. They have a bit more height that they can use it. They've just got to start converting as well and winning the clearances, which is something that I think they're ranked 4 compared to Noble Park, who are much further down. So, give yourself the best opportunities you can.
It's just, it's kind of stood out a little bit to me how much they've overpossessed the ball. And I think in other weeks that has worked. But when you play a side like Noble Park that have that forward 50 pressure, I think they rank 1 in the league for forward 50 pressure. You can't do that.
Yeah, you're right, and they've been able to move the ball really quickly, Noble, on the other end and getting the transition from half back. So, yeah, that's right. That's probably something they can certainly work on.
And that's something they really took advantage of in that first quarter, kicking with the Breeze. You know, that required that fast ball movement from defence to attack, and they just went straight up the guts. Steve Hughes would have been really pleased with how quickly they were moving that ball, and they'll definitely look to continue that in this third quarter.
100%. And they were actually able to adapt to the kicking against the wind as well, which was really impressive.
So a 20-point lead here. Noble Park kicking with the Breeze this quarter. Just before we go to our last break before the third quarter, do you pick Noble Park? Are you sticking with them with the way they're going at the moment? And Dylan, you were pretty keen on Balwyn. Can they get back in this game?
It's hard to say. From what we've seen, I couldn't tip them to win based on what I've seen in the first half. But, based on the year that they've had, I expect them to do a lot better in the second half.
It'll certainly be interesting. And I thought Urban's had a pretty strong first half, and he's probably been the key cog there in the midfield. But, the Sketcher, when he just gets the ball, he just jets off. The amount of space he creates.
They're a little bit like the Tigers. They're a little bit one-paced. if I might say. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. We are going to go to our last break here before third quarter. At the moment, at half-time, it's the Bulls by 20 points.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look, but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, why yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy. And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair.
Yeah, that's great.
Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home, at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Tobin Brothers Funerals wear their heart on their sleeve. Their clear and easy-to-use website and Memory Maker app make it easy for families to make an informed decision. Here's James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals.
There's no mystery about our pricing. It is clearly displayed on our website and our app. We have staff standing by 24 hours a day, every day of the year to assist you in your absolute time of need.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Hi, Dylan Dow from the Baroni Football Netball Club here. When I need to grab a quick coffee or a bite to eat, I'm popping into Eastland. Eastland's more than a shopping centre. They support a range of community organisations and have been a major partner of the EFNL since 2018. Cheers, Eastland.
Listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1
with live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season, bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to the Eastland Match of the Round out at Balwyn Park. This Premier Division King's Birthday clash. It's the Bulls that lead by 20 points at half-time. Wayne Brasher, just before we throw it back to the two callers, your thoughts on that first half on what was pretty much controlled by the Bulls?
Yeah, well, it was, and I thought I liked the way that Noble Park were attacking the ball carrier. They made sure that they created opportunities with their hard work, especially in the midfield. They were very creative when they moved the ball into their forward 50. Probably controlled, probably the best part of 50 minutes. Whereas I just thought in the last 10 minutes of the second quarter there were signs there the ballroom was starting to come to life. I just think though they need to be a little bit more direct. I think they're trying to still play this pinpoint type football, and I think it sort of strays away from actually what they really that good at, and that's a long direct type kick to position and to their key forwards.
It'd be interesting to see if you can get Charlie Haley involved a bit more. Do you move him up the ground at some stage?
Give him
a go in the middle?
You could do an Ash Froud.
Not if he's got a dodgy ankle.
No, you probably can't do it now, but wouldn't hurt to have given him a 5 minutes maybe in that last 10 minutes.
So umpire to try it up as we get underway in the second half. Now we'll see what Balwyn can do. Ball goes down. On the ground, taken there by Casey. Jackson Casey, scrubbing kick forward. It's still there for Noble. Noble, if they can get their hands on it, but that should be a ball up. I think it's Marston on the bottom of that.
Yeah, noticeable line-up changes, gents, that we can see from anyone.
Keen it was, in fact. So up it goes. One out of the middle by Chevy Anderson. Sketches there, but he doesn't get to it first. He may get a handball off. Now it's in the hands there of Horton Milne. Turns around and belts it onto the boot. Can someone get there to it? He's been in the game plenty in this first half. Still falls for Noble though as they go forward inside, or almost inside 50. Knocked away there by Scott. Plenty of Balwyn players out here and they take it across the boundary. Good work there by Wilson, and we'll have a throw in just in this forward pocket right in front of our commentary position.
So looks like Balwyn is sticking to their guns, and fair enough. What are they, top of the ladder? Only lost one game?
Yeah, only one loss.
Yeah, you got to back yourself in, don't you? So throw in, went over the back of both the ruckmen. Sketcher picks it up. Sketcher bursts through a tackle. Sketcher kicks. They're behind. We've seen that before though. Trademark Jackson Sketcher just hitting the ball at pace at stoppage. He hasn't really been the number one midfielder today, but when he's done it, he has done those sort of things where he just gets that extra yard or two of space and can really impact the game a bit more with his possessions.
I think Bowen Smith has now moved on to Sketcher, just the way that
but there's no real tag. It's just they're probably just isolating one of their own as we go to Jared Beanland quickly.
Noble Park have definitely gotten on top in the clearances for the game. They're leading it 21-15. They have the first 3 for this quarter.
So Britton will take the kick in, runs around a little bit to get closer to the boundary line, then hoofs it down the line. It sits up in the breeze. Numbers at ground level with Balwyn, but they're under immense pressure. There's so many people around the football. They just can't get any space, the Tigers. And we'll have another ball up about 50 from the Noble Park goal at 7-5 to 3-8. 2 minutes gone in this third quarter. King's birthday weekend clash. Sketcher off the ground, just hacked it into the face of a running Jamie Reid. Kevin Keane picks it up 48. Little scrappy ball to the top of the goal square, bouncing through for a behind. Kevin Keane, pressure forward. The ultimate pressure forward gets it behind. So Noble 7-6, 48. Balwyn 3-8, 26. We've just started this third term.
So Noble Park continue to be in control as Balwyn bring the ball back in. Britton it is who has it, looking around for options, not too much to kick to. And there's a whistle as he does put the kick finally into play. Which way is this going to go? 25 metre, I think.
It's going to come back because something that the Balwyn
play was too close.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get that. But
okay, so we'll have it again.
It's our very own offside rule.
So Britton it is.
Offside at least makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like watching a replay, but this time he goes out wide, and that's almost a good effect. It is a good mark taken there by Goebbels. So it's going to be either a free kick or a mark, either or. So Goebbels looking around for someone to kick it to. He's just inside the arc as he slams it forward. Plenty of Noble defenders there. Morrison got the hit out over the top. Bull was there as well. Marson, quick hands. It's bobbling around like a hot potato at the moment as it comes back into the centre of the ground. And it's going to be towards the boundary line. Good pick up over there by Scott. Still in. Now it's hacked forward, and that's a goal. That is a goal. I didn't see who kicked it.
Looks like Marson.
Ben Marson, who's been particularly good. It was a really scrappy piece of play. And as we watch the replay, you can see what happened here. It was a good bit of work there by Scott in the first instance, just to win the ball. And as the ball went inside, it was bobbling around all over the place. And Ben Marson said, "Give it to me." And he slams it through. 54 to 26, the margin out to 28 as we go boundary side.
To Liam Scott after that handball, that great effort from him down there. I was a bit concerned he might be injured, but he's gone right back up.
Brash, I just think physically Noble Park have just been on top in that area.
They have been.
Brilliant piece of play by Liam Scott to make that as we go back to the boundary with Dylan this time.
Yeah, just noticed there Charlie Haley's gone on ball.
There you go, that's what we're calling for. So the Tigers are inside forward 50 here. Can they take a mark down there? Lyle is beaten in a one-on-one. And we will have it through for a behind. So the Tigers get their first score of the quarter. 3-9-27 to Noble 8-6-54. So the Bulls, they could set a record for goals scored without a mark inside 50 today as the ball is cleared out to the far wing by the Noble defence, and then Gobleitson is given a shove into the fence. It was a big shove though. And we will have a boundary throw in. So Balwyn just need to get some speed on the ball. I think Dylan was talking about at half time that they just look a bit stagnant, but no handball received. That sort of every time they take a mark Noble or get a free kick, Noble are doing well to make sure they can't just get some quick speed on the ball. They're making them go back over their mark and allowing the Bulls time to get back in defence. Nonetheless, Noble get a clearance here through Sketcher. And across the front with Scott. Gaines gathers at 50 out. Look to pass it off the three blokes. Set sail for home. Bouncing across the face. He didn't look confident there, big Jakey Gaines. He just wanted to give it to someone.
I reckon he
Anyone.
should have just lollydopped it to the...
Well, he could have drawn in the defender, but the defender, I think, looked him in the eye and said, this bloke doesn't want it, so I'll let him have it. So Jamie Ridd will take the kick out this time for the Tigers. Goes up the guts with a low spearing ball. Scott got a hand to it. In the end, it works out for Tigers. And Chevy Anderson's through the centre circles. Chipping ball towards Lyle, but sitting back in the hole and doing well is Matthew Nelson for the Bulls. He'll go across the ground. Find a team at it there in McDonald. He'll go short to Ryan Morrison. He's got Ben Marston leading at him. He's got Tommy Glenn at centre half forward. He ignores both of those options and decides to kick in the Marston direction eventually, but it's out of bounds on the full. But right half back for Balwyn. They're 3-9-27, trailing by 28 points. Noble Park 8-7-55.
So free kick going the way of Balwyn. Hicks it was, he took it, but he's turned it over, in fact, as the ball in the hands now of Noble Park, but it's on the ground there to be contested. Going in there was, I think it's Goebbels, is it, who gets it out, but it's all untidy again as it goes forward. On the ground, Peart is in there trying to get it, but he can't. Now it's in the hands of Noble again. Handball over the top from Nelson. Finds a target. And there's a little chip forward, trying to find a target. Nice work, it's Marson. Over on the far side, he'll go inside 50. Can he hit the target? Gaines is there through his hands. Probably should have taken it. Now it's Chevy Anderson, who just belts it away to safety. But it's going to come back. Mark taken there by Francis. Francis will wheel around and just put a little short kick forward. Nice mark taken by Beach. This is a good build-up by Noble. They look dangerous. The next kick's the one, though. This will take them inside the 50 metres. Here's the kick. Long kick out towards Tua. He's gone out of the game. Stern, so I say, he's gone out of the game a little bit as the ball is on the ground. Tua's not even playing, but anyway.
Seem to have all the answers at the moment, Ryan. Noble Park. Balwyn just don't look like they can get anything going whatsoever.
No, not really.
So they win it out of the ruck at Noble Park on the grounds. Trying to get it away was Hicks. He's been quite good. Quick hands there from Urban. Also been good for... That's a kick again straight to a Noble
That's
player.
the third time in a row they've done
Just
that.
back in the hole. That's terrible play. And they'll rebound again.
Well, they've turned it over there. The jinx, Charlie Haley, takes the mark, centre circles. What's happening there? It's the ball players are always under pressure when they're kicking. So they just have to hack it. They can't take that extra second to find an option. As Cross got it from Haley, goes out wide, and Hicks' kick might have got a touch on it, did Lockie McDonald. Ends up in the hands of Stevenson. He hooks it around the body. But the mark is taken out there by Jack Francis, who's been setting a kick behind the play, and he goes across to Morrison, who's called to play on. And off one step, he hacks it down the line to a 1-on-4. Gobleitson will fly, bring it to ground. Numbers, though, with the Bulls. Hooked around the body, and Marson takes the mark. He's got an open forward 50 ahead of him. Scott is the man he'll look for. In the end, the kick's a shocker, but it finds its way to Sketcher, who marks just outside the 40. Could give the handball off, but he's got the journey in him. He's kicking with a breeze. One of the best kicks of the football in recent memory, and he'll go back and have a shot, you would have thought. I don't think that's the man Ben Marston was looking for, but the way they've played today, you make your own luck. And it's worked out well for the Bulls.
He's going to miss this after that build-up, you realise that?
No, he'll kick this. He doesn't let you down, Jackson Sketchup. From inside the centre square, sets sail for home, just short. Kept in by Elliott in the end, and then none of the Balwyn players wanted to get it, and got Bleetson handballs it through. He was under pressure inside the 9, but no one really wanted it. And it's another behind on the score. So Balwyn 3-9-27 trail, no 8-8-56. They just need to. There's just no polish. Maybe the ball needs some pumping as we go to Jared in the stat centre.
7 inside 50s to 2 already in favour of Noble Park for just this quarter alone.
So Chevy Anderson bangs it down the line. Marson, who's been terrific for Noble Park, among their best players today, takes the mark. Now he's going to switch it right across the other side of the ground, trying to find a target. It's a big kick and a good mark taken over there by that man Pollux. He was also very good for Balwyn in the first quarter, but now he just needs someone to kick to as he finally goes out wide. It's a kick and a little bit fortuitous in the end, but it finds the target in Lunny. Haven't called his name too much today. Ball comes back inside, taken by Lyle. They're just going nowhere. That's an awful kick. McDermott's got plenty to do over there, and he's been tackled by Bodie Lambert. Cries of holding the ball from the Noble Park faithful. Sketcher, short kick.
It's a mark inside 50 for Noble.
Hooray!
Finally.
I was just going to say, have you got a stat on how many marks Noble Park have taken in Balwyn's inside 50?
So
no, not yet.
It's taken them just over 2 quarters to do it, but they've finally got a mark inside 50, and this man Noblet will go back.
And just the class from Sketcher there to take his time.
Yeah,
he
could have blazed away.
He certainly could have.
Yeah, 11 goals for this man so far this season. He's been a good acquisition for the Bulls. Let's see if he can kick number 12 here and extend that lead even further, which is starting to get a little bit ugly for Balwyn. The left footer for Noblet. Here's the kick on its way. It's there, I think. No, it's missed. I thought just for a moment it was going through, but it's gone through for a minor score and one more to the total. We've had 10 minutes in this third term, 8-9-57 to 3-9-27, Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
They're making Balwyn go sideways all the time, but it's on, as Britton's kick is a dangerous one to read, takes a good mark. Every time that last piece of play, Balwyn took the mark inside, and they just immediately look lateral. They don't look on the 45, they're looking on the 90 degrees. Reid takes off and then cuts back and then chips it out wide to the skipper. How often has he taken a mark inside defensive 50 in his career, Jeff Goebbels? He goes short to Haley, who himself is in an unusual territory, got the handball away in the end. They're under pressure now, Balwyn. Goebbels' handball, Marson. That's a shocking kick. There's a free kick going the way of Balwyn. It's going to come all the way back to Goblitson, is it? For a push in the back. So no one really knows whose free kick it is. But yeah, like I said, they're just being hemmed in. They might have to bite off this kick, so Britton's free at centre back. It's a dangerous kick, but that might be the one they need to try. Just do something that isn't a straight line as Goebbels goes down the line, in a straight line. Jackson Casey should have taken the mark. He didn't, then Irvin just slapped it on the boot, but Jack Francis is the only one waiting back home. It's centre half back for the Bulls. His kick is in the Marson direction. Takes a good strong mark. Handball off immediately. Horton Milne from 45 sets sail for home and kicks it. That might be game. 9-9-63 the Bulls. Balwyn 3-9-27. It's out to a 6-goal lead. And just, again, that was probably the cleanest goal that Noble have kicked today, Ryan. Jack Francis, straight up the line. Ben Marson, who's about, 6'1", 6'2". He's playing like he's 200 centimetres at the moment. Well,
he's playing with confidence, and that was a mark in between two Balwyn defenders, and the kick was good to pass it off to Horton Milne. And they're just, they seem to be playing with a lot more confidence in this side, and obviously Balwyn have just had a bit of trouble getting out of their back 50. They do just need to try something new, Brash. I don't know what you want them to...
They're down by 6 goals now, so may as well bite off some dangerous kicks.
So what can they do? It's Oakes who puts it onto the boot. It's not a great kick, but a great mark over there. Is it?
Nobles?
No, he's dropped it. I thought for a minute he'd taken it, but it must have just hit the ground, and the umpire says we'll have a ball up.
I think the only way Balwyn get back into this contest is somewhere along the line. They're going to try and take ownership of the corridor back, because at the moment, Noble Park are just controlling that area.
So ball in the contest again. Balwyn have it, but the umpire says we'll just have a ball up.
It's also a big test here for Steve Hughes and the Bulls, because he spoke about that in the pre-game. They haven't played many four-quarter performances this season.
So they need to really put this one to bed, because they're right in control at the moment. The last thing they want to do is have a flat patch and let Balwyn get a sniff, because there is plenty of time to go. Probably, a good quarter and a half anyway. Out to Francis on that far side. 63-27, 13 gone. Francis goes down the line, finds a target. Just happy just to control it, the Bulls, and just keep it away from Balwyn. That's a dangerous kick. It's probably going to get turned over. Good effort there by Scott, but he couldn't get his hands on it. Godleeson gets it forward, but it's been turned over. Keane weaves his way out of trouble. Now it's Noblet, goes inside 50, trying to find a target that's to nobody in particular. And in fact, I think it's gone out as we get into the boundary.
Yeah, in that previous contest there, Charlie Haley just took a pretty big hit. He is looking fairly banged up.
So the kick from McDermott is across the ground to Britton. He's had a lot of it, but it's
hasn't hurt them, though.
Again, look, every time they take a mark, they just can't. That's what Noble are doing down the line. They're just clogging up, as you said, every kicking lane, every option has a Noble player around it, and then they have to go long and high, and Jack Francis takes the mark. So it's going to have to take some risks here, Balwyn, you would have thought, as Francis goes low inside forward 50, straight back to Britton, those two playing kick to kick. Britton goes quickly, out wide to Wilson. He'll need to handball it over the top, surely, to Jamie Ridd. Eventually he does. Ridd gets it, has to go back towards the corridor, onto his right boot, and does. Hooks it to a dangerous position, centre of the ground. Good body work, though, from the Noble Park defender, Jack Francis there. Got rid of Chevy Anderson and allowed his teammate Marson to take another mark. He goes short in the middle to Glenn. Wasn't far enough. Glenn handballed back to him. He's under pressure from Haley. Got around the tackler and then just kicked it blindly to 3 Balwyn players. They've got to go quickly here. Anderson, handball to Wilson. Looks up, not much doing. Has to go down the line to Haley. He's got 3 to beat. Might be a downfield, though. It is. That's fortuitous for the Balwyn forward, and Haley will get the free kick just outside the arc. Balwyn again, though, just no connectivity, nothing.
I think Charlie might have to take ownership of this and try and kick the goal.
Well, they've had moments of brilliance. Obviously, Jeff Goebbels' goal. They had the free kick going the way of Jordan Lyle. Urban got one from an advantage free kick. So here's Haley from just outside the arc, kicking into a breeze. Decent connection. It's out of bounds on the full, though. So, or was there a touch on it? No, out of bounds on the full. So Ryan Morrison will get to bring it back in. So this is the Noble Park of last year, isn't it? That defensive first side. They don't really concentrate on how well they're playing. It's how poorly they can make the opposition play.
So Morrison it is. He slams it out towards this far side. Oh, terrific grab over there. That's magnificent. Francis it was. He took it.
He's had a good game, Francis.
He's had a very good game. So Jack Francis, where's the next one going to go? Keane made himself available up the line, but it's going to go more inboard as the kick goes forward. Up they fly. That'll be a free kick. Glenn it was, who was taken in the air. And he'll have a free kick. So Glenn plays on quickly. Puts it onto the boot, goes inside 50, gets right over the back. Here's an opportunity. Trying to get his hands on it there was Nelson. Yes, it was Nelson as the ball goes in. Little chip forward. And almost a mark taken. Ball on the ground there. There's plenty of defence.
Oh!
Goal, is it?
Oh!
No, just missing.
See, that would have been goal of the day if he had kicked that.
That would have been goal of the day. There was two Balwyn players there, but the Noble Park player, who I'm not sure who it was.
It was Nelson.
Luke Nelson.
Just got in between them, and he had a snap at goal, and that would have been the Tobin brothers' goal of the day, certainly.
Go to the stats centre with Jared Beanland.
Well, that pressure on the ball carrier is really paying dividends for Noble Park. They've taken 8 intercept marks for the quarter already.
For the quarter?
For the quarter.
How many for the game?
That's going to be a total of 15.
So Oakes has got it. That's a beautiful kick. That's what we need to see more from Balwyn. Into the middle to Cross. Handball to Ridd. He's chipping ball. Makes Haley work, but he takes the mark at centre half forward. That's the kick we want to see. Nathan Oakes just bit off at 45. Noble weren't expecting that. Now Haley can go back from directly in front. He'll kick from outside the arc though.
Well, he might have to go to the right goal post, I reckon, Amy.
Oh, he's going to play on. Run right to the arc, set sail for home. Looks like it's on target. Has got the distance. It hasn't. And there's a mark taken there by Ryan Morrison right on the goal line. It should have been 25 because Oscar Lunny did not come back to the 9. But he played on quickly enough to Jackson Casey that it didn't matter. But once again, that's another intercept mark for the Bulls. That was a better piece of play, though, from the Tigers. Hicks couldn't get a hand to this one, but he does enough to obscure Luke Nelson's vision, and the ball goes over the line for a boundary thrown over near the cricket nets.
They need a couple of goals, Balwyn, in this quarter to give them a little bit of hope.
Within 5 goals, I think.
Yep.
So they're down though at the moment by 6, 27 to 64, 9-10 to 3-9. Anderson takes out of the ruck, left foot ball inside forward 50. There's another intercept mark, Jared, up to 10 for the quarter. The Bulls, they've got it at centre half back.
Boys on the boundaries, a bit of rain out there. I thought I could see.
Just dark.
Yeah, it's just dark clouds, Besto.
Okay. I thought I saw a bit of drizzle on the camera there, but it's my eyes deceiving me as Noble Park to send the ball back in. There's a long kick forward. There's a couple of defenders back there. Stern was one. The attackers. Stern was one of them, but it's fallen for ball, and they'll bring it out through McDermott.
Gone.
That'll be ball, surely. It is. Great tackle. Brilliant pressure by Noble once again.
No point arguing. You were already 360 degrees gone.
So Noble it is who has the free kick. Just been indicative of their game today. Superb pressure by Noble Park. They've done it time and time again. So Noblet, he's going to. Looks like he was going to try and give it off, but I think he's going to have a crack now. So the margin 64 to 27.
It'll be a fair hoof if he gets this.
Yeah, it's a long kick. He'll be outside the arc, well outside the arc when he kicks it. I doubt that he'll have the distance or the accuracy. Anderson's back there, and it's gone through. So minor score.
Well, he had the distance, Brett. Just not the accuracy.
He got called to play on too. He took longer than his 30.
So
Britain was going to take it. Sorry, Besto. He forgot the rule. He went to play on and then stopped. I think he was almost worried that he had to wait for something there. So this time goes down the line. This should suit Noble because there's about 4 of them. And they get a fist to it, knocked it to ground, and then Chevy Anderson has to lay the tackle. And we'll have a stoppage from where Nobler had that shot of goal. Yeah, I think he got called to play on for taking too long because he was sort of indecisive, as Brett called, and because he probably could have had the leg if he'd had a bit more time to do it. As Sketcher gathers 50 metres out, gets that little bit of extra space, kicks it to the top of the goal square. Sorry, and the mark is taken though by Van Driel. They've done this okay, ball, and it's this next part, the kick to stick up. 2-on-1, Hudson Thomas. Good old-fashioned fist over the line for a boundary throw-in. They just can't. There's just no obvious kicks, and you'd almost have to go the head count, Brash. There's so many.
Well, how many times have guys like Morrison or Francis or Marson have marked it in that area of the ground?
So even the midfielders, though, it's just been everyone. They just every time a Balwyn player picks up around the stoppage, they're surrounded. Then they get it to the open side, and there's more Noble players. Maybe there's a few just jump the fence past that, but there's not that many in the crowd.
Some of the reserves.
The reserves have stayed on. So tapped down by Gaines. Riddle gather it at centre half back, got a bit of speed and just hoofs it off the instep to centre wing. Fly from Lunny. Looks like he's been thrown forward in this second half to give them another option. Handball from Luke Nelson back to his brother Matthew. Slaps it to centre half forward. Well done by Pollux. That's a great mark. Got to go quickly though. Needs an option.
Move it.
Got no one to kick it to, Brash.
Oh, no.
So he's going to go to a dangerous one in Urban. Went over the top of him. I think that's Stevenson who had a great effort to dive and gather it, but the kick wasn't good enough, and he's going to get ping on the ball here. It's all going the way of Noble Park, as you can hear the faithful below us.
It's like a home game for Noble Park.
Ben Marston gets the free kick. He's about 65 from home. What's he got? He's going to go low and across the ground in the Lambert direction. Tried to pull it in with one juke, couldn't do so. Well done by Hicks, came across the body, but Lambert ended up with the football. He goes across blindly. It'll end up in the hands of Alex Urban. Centre half back, got nowhere to go. Shrugs off the Casey tackle and then goes across the ground to Hicks, who'll mark. He's got McDermott running for him, ignores him, and then goes short over the top for Cross. Well done by Lambert though, got across, got a fist to it, out of bounds for a boundary throw in. So we've gone 21 minutes here in this third quarter. It's got awfully dark here.
Yeah, I'm thinking the lights might have to come on in a minute.
Noble Park 9-11-65, Balwyn 3-9-27.
It's just another Saturday afternoon at the footy, because pretty much every week I think we get to about this time. And
it is the middle of the year.
The darkness comes in and the lights come on, but it is particularly dark out there. As they go inside 50 again, Noble Park, trying to find a target, through hands over there. Danger not over yet though, as Noblet picks it up. Not Noblet, sorry, Pollux will get it right third time, and it's a free kick to Balwyn.
Well, we are heading to the winter solstice, meaning the shortest day of the year. Yes, in light terms.
Yes, indeed. So free kick in the hands of Van Triel. Haven't called his name too much today as he slams it down. Mark almost taken there by Casey, but it went through his hands. Out on the far side of the ground. Now it comes back inside 50 again. Keane couldn't quite get hands on it. Still there, and in the end it's across the boundary. So another throw in. And more dangerous position for the Bulls. 65-27. We've played 22 minutes in this third term. And Balwyn have made pretty much no inroads. In fact, they've almost lost ground, I think, in this term. As the ball is there, sketch up, managed to get it out. And can they get a mark there? Not quite. There's going to be a whistle. Which way is this going to go? Thomas it was who gave away the free kick, and it's gone to Balwyn. Across the other side of the ground, Wilson has it.
Wilson goes into the corridor. It's a dangerous kick, but it works out. Eventually the handball comes back to the man there.
See you later.
He got run down. He got sold down the river there, Josh Sticker. Just the decision-making today from Balwyn has just been a little bit off. The kick into the middle was beautiful. That's what we want to see. They gave the handball. I'll give them a pass there. I've been asking for more handball receives, but they just sold these men down the river. So we're into time on here. Balwyn haven't kicked a goal, so they've definitely lost ground. It's out to 38 points. Britton gets back there, drop the mark, ball hits the deck. This is where the Bulls are dangerous. Noblet is around it. He's had 2 behinds this quarter. We'll have a stoppage, 20 metres out from their goal. Where's Jackson Sketcher at this contest? No one's on him at the moment. Urban's looking at him and going, is anyone going to get at him? You can just see it.
Put some body on it.
Sketch up, no one around him. Hit out down, Cross's kick was smothered and skewed off the side of the boot, so it should be all the Bulls. McDonald's got it. Handball to Stern. Kicked one from here earlier today. Burns off his tackler. Hooks it around the body. Skinny. Oh. That would have been a goal of the day. So Stern has 2 goals, 2 or 2 goals, 1 by my count.
I got him as 2-2.
2-2. So Desmond, 9-12-66 the Bulls. Balwyn 3-9-27 as we go to Jared Beanland in the score centre.
Interesting reference there, Matty. Interesting reference there, Matty. Yeah, so the dominance of Noble Park absolutely on display in the inside 50 count. It's 21 inside 50s to 5 for this quarter.
Extraordinary. So Balwyn get it forward as the smell of the coffee van wafts up here. I tell you what, I might have to send someone down, I think, in a minute, as the ball is over on that far side of the ground.
We don't have any Girl Fridays, Brett.
Just an update at Heights Reserve. Montrose 9-1-56 to Moolbach 3-6-24.
Doesn't have to be a girl, Brash. We're not sexist up here. We'll take anyone. Here's the ball in. It was a knockdown there by Beach. It's fallen for Noble Park, and they'll go forward again, as they have on so many occasions. Is that a free kick? No, the umpire says play on. Thought it might have been some fun on contact there. That's out now in this pocket. And we'll have a throw in. So what have we got? 24.5 minutes gone, so there can't be a heck of a lot longer to go.
So they get a goal here, Noble. I think
that's it.
I can't
it's
see.
already pretty much
I think we can pretty much almost call it at this point, 66-27. Unless something drastic happens in the last term. Marson, little kick forward. It's not going to be 15 metres as the ball is in the hands over there of Horton Milne.
All I will say is, I remember calling a game last year out at Noble where Roval, what was it? They came back from about 5 goals down at three-quarter time. Now, it was a different style of game because there's only been 12 goals today, but never say never.
So inside the final minute of the game, as the ball, final minute of this term, should I say, as the ball comes in, Glenn was on the ground trying to pick it up. It's going to be wrapped up over there. Will it come out? Sort of does, but in the end it's a strong tackle and we'll have another ball up. So not long to play in this third term, 25 gone, margin is 39.
So ball up inside Noble's forward 50. Anderson gets a run at it, but was knocked off it by Gaines, and then Urban got the handball to Reid, who just quickly kicks it forward, and Jack Francis is there again. They just can't get that extra step. So other teams, obviously Reid there, if he just has an extra step, he can kick a drop punt, but the Noble pressure means he just has to hack it on the boot as Liam Scott keeps it in, took a bounce! And then the umpire belatedly says he ran out of bounds with it. That would have been a bit of bets about that one.
I reckon he would have got that.
He was wheeling around.
I reckon he would have kicked that
goal. One of the easier goals today. That's a beautiful throw-in, depth on the throw-in. Anderson, and then slapped by Horton Milne, and then Cross was under it. He was on hiding to nothing there, and then Urban might have been taken high, but the umpire couldn't see anything. And we'll have a ball up, 30 metres out from the Noble gone, 26 minutes gone. There's a three-quarter time siren. The Bulls have pretty much got their hands on 4 points here, almost. They've got hands on 3 of them. They're 9-12-66, leading ball in 3-9-27 here on the King's birthday weekend annual game. The goal kickers, 3 to Luke Nelson, 2 to Liam Scott, 2 to Josh Stern, and a single to Ben Marson and Chris Horton-Milne, while Balwyn, their goal kickers at half-time, remain the same. Alex Urban, Jeff Goebbels and Jordan Lyle. We'll go to a break. When we come back, we'll have a chat with, I think, Brendan Sanderson. We'll be interested to hear from him. And then we'll analyse the 3 quarters that have gone and the one that's coming up.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. Let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $200 a year on water and energy bills. Shower shorter. Save water. Authorised by the Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wantirna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
The first time I met the team at Tobin Brothers Funerals, I felt like I'd known them for years. They're so caring, honest and passionate. James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals, sums it up best when he says,
"Every day our people get out of bed to assist client families in their absolute time of need. Our people love what they do, and you will not find a more highly trained group of people than those at Tobin Brothers."
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Hi, I'm Ben Desson from Montrose Football Netball Club, and when I need a new kit for a night out, I head over to Eastland. But Eastland is more than a shopping centre. They support a range of community organisations and have been major partners of the Eastern Football Netball League since 2018. Thanks, Eastland.
You are listening listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season, bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to Balwyn Park here for this Premier Division King's birthday clash between Noble Park and Balwyn, and it is the Bulls at three-quarter time who extended their lead 9-12-66, leading the Tigers 3-9-27. Balwyn managed just a one behind in that quarter, while Noble Park kicked 2 goals 8, so certainly had a chance to end the game completely, and I'm sure we'll be joined by Brenton Sanson with a interview there at three-quarter time. But Brash, just before then, your thoughts on that quarter? No, we'll wait for you, Brash, as we go boundary side to Dylan Smith.
Yeah, guys, here I've got the Balwyn head coach Brenton Sanderson with me. Brenton, how have you seen the game so far?
Well, they've been awesome. They've been really good around the contest. Their method's excellent. It's what we've been, unfortunately. And we didn't score for 2 quarters going into the wind. And obviously they had a really good second quarter. They were able to move the ball and kick front square goals in that second quarter in particular. So winning day from far, we've got a bit of pride to finish off.
What was your message to the guys there at three-quarter time for the last quarter?
Pretty much all that attack now, so we don't want to lose the game.
You played 2 games in the second.
We're happy to do that.
How would you get this kick right?
Corridor kicks there that you tried to pull off in the third quarter. Is that a bit of a focus, or?
Oh yeah, we'll just try and play with a bit more dare, a little bit more creative. We've just been a little bit bland today. Second hasn't helped, and we've just got to find a way to win this game.
Awesome, thanks, mate.
Thanks there to Dylan. Down on boundary side, Brash, just your thoughts going into the last quarter. Do you give Balwyn a sniff?
Not today, not at the moment. I just don't see how I can't see them finding enough avenues to goal, Ryan, to kick the winning score. They've kicked 3 goals in 3 quarters of football. Noble Park have controlled the contest. Their half-back line has been impenetrable. Their attack on the ball carrier right throughout the contest has been fantastic. They seem to be able to find space where Balwyn can't find space, and I think Noble Park will win this game. And they'll probably win by 5. I know they're 40 points up now, but I expect they can hold that margin.
Balwyn have got a bruise, so yeah, I agree with you there, Brash. Josh Ward?
Yeah, I was listening into Steve Hughes at that three-quarter time address, and he said he was really happy with the pressure and wants them to keep bringing that pressure mids to push back for a bit more defensive support, kicking against the breeze this quarter. And once they enter inside 50, tidy up their entrances a little bit. But overall, he's very calm and very happy as always.
Thanks, Wardy. You'd have to be pretty hard to please if you weren't pleased from a Steve Hughes point of view. Noble Park have been absolutely superb today.
You'd be feeling pretty good about it too, wouldn't you, Brett?
I'd be feeling very happy. Actually, I wasn't overly confident before the game, so it's been a little bit of a surprise. But
just before we get into it, in Division 4, Surrey Park 7-12-54 to scores be 6-5-41.
Oh, okay, interesting result out there. We'll bring you those results, final scores as they come to head, as the world's loudest siren goes off again. 66-27 underway in this final term. What can Balwyn do? Can they make a little bit of inroad into this margin? First contest of the game, or this quarter, should I say, is going to be a repeat stoppage as the ball is wrapped up on the ground.
Be interesting to know if Balwyn just keep 6 forwards the whole time and don't allow Noble to just have those easy intercept marks. Because what they get last quarter, Jared, about 15?
11.
So Noble go forward again. It's bobbling around over there. Nicely done by Scott, but he's been wrapped up well and truly on the ground. Good tackle there. I think it was McDermott, was it, on the ground?
Bowen Smith there.
Bowen Smith. So the umpire says we'll have, I just saw the 4, but it was the wrong 4. As the ball is knocked down again in the hands there of Urban, who's been one of Balwyn's better players. Going back there after it was Bull. Try to get hands on it, but it's there again. Ball, second touch in a couple of minutes. McDonnell bangs it out wide, trying to find a target, but there seems to be plenty of Balwyn players over there on the ground. One of them going back, and little chip inside. It's a dangerous ball back inside, and it's been cut off over there. Beach it was with the intercept, and here they come again.
The big ruckman puts it on the left boot, long inside, forward 50. Can they get a mark inside 50? They can't. Ball hits the deck though. This is where they operate. Keen, handball to Glenn, steps inside the tackler, runs to 40, high ball, hooking back, but it won't come back enough. It might not even make the distance. It doesn't. There's going to be a free kick going the way of Balwyn though, for over the shoulder, going to Liam McDermott. So all out of tackle is what Brenton Sanderson said. So let's see what the Tigers have got. First kick is across to Pollux, hemmed in the back pocket by Jackson Sketcher. So this is this is what's been happening the whole time, though. Look at the way Noble's set up. They're basically asking Balwyn to bite off an impossible kick, and that's what Pollux tries to do. Casey came across and spoiled Oakes' attempt to mark, and then he got the handball back to Scott, who tried to tap it back to him. And it's out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. So that first attempt, not exactly how they would have liked it, the Tigers.
No. They were truly hemmed in then.
As they have been all day. Just the 12 scoring shots and only the 3 goals, and 2 of them came from free kicks. Clearance, though, for the Tigers this time. Lyle got to impact the contest, takes the mark, got to go quickly because he's got men out the back. Handball quickly to Urban, chips it over the top. Should be a goal here for the Tigers. Haley marks, Haley runs in, Haley goals. That's the start they wanted. 4-9-33. They cut the margin to 33. Noble 9-12, 66. 2.5 minutes gone last quarter. Jordan Lyle, though, he's the man who impacted the contest there, Brash. Took the mark up the ground and allowed them to get some speed on the ball.
Yeah, but they ran. All of a sudden, they knew that what Lyle could do, and 2 Balwyn players then ran forward of the ball, and the midfield of Balwyn, 2 of them pushed up.
Well, I just think the fact that that's probably the first contested mark they've taken in a long time, and that allowed them
but
to
it gave
get
them
play.
options then,
Yeah,
Matt.
it did. It didn't meant Noble couldn't just set up behind the ball.
So back in the middle, a little bit of hope for Balwyn with the Charlie Haley goal, but there's a long way to come back as the ball is socket off the ground. Forward, there's plenty of Noble Park defenders back there. Nice work from McDonnell. Gives it off, but he gave it off to a Balwyn player. Now they go out wide with the ball over there was Lyle.
How's it bounce?
Involved, but an awkward bounce. It's bouncing all over the place as Morrison manages to evade a tackle. Now he goes down the line. And it's knocked inside. Good work by Casey. Picks it up and burst away Casey from the contest. Gets it forward, but it's nicely intercepted over there by Godleeson. And Balwyn to come back again. Kick into the middle of the ground. Not a particularly good one. Cut off over there by Glenn. Glenn sends it back to McDonald. McDonald goes out wide. And it should be marked over there, and it is, by that man Stern. Couple of goals early on when the game was still there to be won.
I understand Gottliebsen doing that because, look, they're going to take risk, Paul, and if they're going to get back into the contest, with great risk comes great reward, but if you fluff your lines, you're in big trouble.
This is a tough shot, though, because the wind's been stronger than we think up here on the balcony.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a very tough kick.
So, in fact, he's not going to take the shot. He's going to stab it into the pocket, and is at a mark over there. Marson it was. He came forward, and this will be a slightly easier kick in terms of distance, but the angle is still quite acute.
Yeah, still take his best, and he's had a fantastic afternoon, Ben Marson.
He has.
I reckon Francis has had a sensation.
He has.
He has as well.
Well, you guys are stealing my 3-2-1s here.
Yeah.
You've got my 3 and my 2.
So many intercept marks across that halfback line from Jack Francis. He's been outstanding. So here's Marson. Slow, deliberate approach. On a very tight angle, leads the kick. This would be the goal of the day if he kicks this. And, hit the post. So close. One more to the total, 67-33 as we go to the boundary.
And just back to Jack Francis. He was one player that Steve Hughes singled out in that 3/4 time address. He was really impressed with that intercepting and leadership from defence.
So Britton takes the kick out and goes straight up the guts. He's looking for the big fly. He'll get one, but Casey did well and brought it to ground, but it's all Balwyn here at ground level. Little handball came out. Chevy Anderson got it away, intercepted by Powell though. He was looking for Sticker, was Anderson, and Sticker went back in and got it. Goebels now with the footy, tackles Horton Milmu, scrapped it off him, and then Beach picks it up, and eventually the umpire should surely call for a ball up, and does. And it looks like, so Van Drill's gone forward as well to give them another marking option. So clearly Balwyn want to get the ball, get it in long. Try to take some marks inside forward 50. Tap down, Wilson, Urban, tackled by Casey. The umpire circles, and we'll have a repeat stoppage. Balwyn they want Anderson to sort of just get it clear of the swarm of players. On 5.5 minutes here, Balwyn have kicked the only goal of the quarter. It's back to 34 points. Still a long way to go for Balwyn, but a clearance comes this way from Urban. Can they get a mark? Francis flies and brings down another one. He's getting closer to that 3 vote as he goes across the ground for Morrison, who marks. He goes back on the mark. Lyle will pressure him now. He's got an option over the top. He'll go long in the end. Hooks it back towards Beach. Anderson's got the sit. Beach did well though, brought it to ground. Horton Milne put it on the boot, tumbled it towards centre half forward. Scott dropped the mark but gathered the crumb, hooked it around the body. Can this work out? It will. Stern takes the mark. Just their 3rd inside 50 for the day, and he'll go back from 35 metres out directly in front to put the game beyond doubt.
Yeah, if he does that, I think the fat lady will sing.
Just the way.
She's been waiting for a bit.
I was going to say she's been on the balcony for a little while.
So Stern, another just forcing the ball forward from Noble. It's not pretty. You know, even Morrison's kick was a risk rash, but it was an educated one. He knew Beach would at least halve the contest. As Stern keeps it low and keeps it straight. He's kicked 3. Noble have kicked 10. They're 10-13-73. They lead by 40 points. Balwyn 4-9-33. We've gone 7 minutes in the last quarter.
Yeah, you make a good point. It has been pretty footy all afternoon, but it's just worked for him. And that's all you need. It's been resulting in goals. Their forward 50 entries quite different to Balwyn's and what other sides would play. So, and it's worked out well for him.
So, Noble Park, the defending premiers. A few people are writing them off. But that may be a little bit premature based on today's performance. They're right back in this premiership contest as Balwyn bring it forward. Not the greatest kick in the world. Bouncing around over there. It might still work out. A little handball off. It's going to be cut off over there by Nelson, I think it is. He took possession, but he's wrapped up on the ground. And the umpire says, give it to me, and we'll have a ball up. So inside 50. Another inside 50 for Balwyn. In fact, it was Ball who was on the bottom of that. So can they pinch another one here, Balwyn? Up they go. They win the hit out. Knocked away there. But Noble get it, and they work it out again. I think it's going to come back. Messy period of play. The thump towards the pocket there. And knocked across the boundary. Great defensive work by Morrison. And it'll be a throw it in the right forward pocket. So the margin is 40 points, 73-33. And we've had 8 minutes in this last term. Umpire to throw it in. Plenty of wrestling, got over the head of Beach there, was waiting for it. And it's Balwyn who are going to pick it up, and they'll come back inside 50 again. Little handball out there to Urban. They go inside 50. Can they get the mark? No, they can't. Good work by Rhett Powell. And here's a snap at goal, and it's missed. Opportunity goes begging, but one more to the total, 73-35. And we've had 8.5 in this last term.
Thanks, Besto. Just a quick cross to the MCG. I don't do this often, Jared, but the Hawks going to beat the Lions. They're up by 19 points, 2 minutes to go. We go to Jared in the Stats Centre.
It's impressive. So Balwyn are really starting to even things up a little bit. They're winning the clearances 6-2 for this quarter, and the inside 50s 7-1.
Well, the one though for Noble, I think they've had 2, maybe 1 or 2. They've kicked a goal from it. So Sketcher took the kick out.
7-4, my bad.
7-4. Jack Beach took the mark, and then he goes down the line. Beautiful job punt. Finds his target there in Goikoa, who had a hot 5 minutes to start this game.
Yeah, haven't seen him since.
And then haven't seen him since. He had about 8 touches in those 3 minutes, and then got his 9th there. Little chipping ball to Gaines on the lead. Tell you what, the Hawks best, though. They don't have many wins as Carlton now. As we go up towards centre half forward for the Bulls. Good spoil in the end from Elliott. Got it over the line for a boundary throw in.
At least you'll get more wins in North Melbourne.
I was going to say, you've been a star today, multitasking, calling this game.
Yeah,
I
distracted you at one stage cheering on a Lloyd Meek set shot. It's freezing cold out here, and it's a 6-goal game. I could have watched. That's all right. I'll watch the replay. As the ball's out the back here, another Bulls clearance coming up. Horton Milne from outside 50 kept it low and went onto the chest there of Lunny.
I thought you'd be having an early night and getting up to watch the World Test Championship, mate.
Champions League finals on this weekend too.
Yeah, I know.
Big weekend of sport.
NBA finals today.
NBA finals. Watched that this morning. Denver Nuggets 3-1.
Yeah, we're looking good in the World Test Championship, that's for sure.
Thrown in inside 450 for the Bulls. That boundary umpire's got an absolute cannon on him. As the ball's cleared again, but only as far as Lambert, who slapped it on the boot inside 450. This would be the way the Bulls score their goals. That's deliberate. That has to be deliberate. Umpire says throw it in. Defensive handball there from the Balwyn defender. I think it was Rid. So look, if you're the ruckman here, set right back in the corridor where they are. He's got an absolute cannon. Look at that. Beautiful throw in. Tapped down by Elliott. Free kick going the way of Balwyn. It was a bit anticlimactic. Or is it going to Noble? Oh, it is going to Noble. He didn't point in any direction there. I don't know what's happened here. Jackson Sketcher's got a free kick.
I've got no idea what that was for.
Everyone was... Did he signal?
Well, no, I thought he signalled the other way.
Yeah, so did I. Josh?
Ignored the other way. I didn't see anything.
But what did he give the free kick for?
I think it was holding the man. I think it was the call.
Well, nonetheless, Jackson Sketcher's going to come in. He should kick this. 25 metres out, slide angle, keeps it low.
That he's missed.
Across the face. Sorry, Jackson.
Nicely mozzed.
I'll keep what's that, he's second behind or something like that. This game has lost its mustard, though. Besta hasn't. It's 40 points now. 10-14, 74 the Bulls. Balwyn 4-10-34. 11 and a half minutes in this fourth quarter. Ryan, you're all over this stuff. Where does this put Noble on the ladder?
They were equal on percentage of at 7th. A win here would put them 4th, I believe.
So Jackson Casey, let's go. I reckon it's through. Yes, it's there. What a goal, Jackson Casey. Let's watch the replay. It was a bit sort of untidy as the ball came in, and Jackson Casey said, I'm just going to have a crack here. There he is, just sort of inside the arc, and he just let rip. He's a big boy, and it sails through, and that's definitely a contender for the Tobin Brothers goal of the day. And more pain on this Balwyn side. It's 11-14-80 to 14-34. Bendigo back to scoreboard, 12 minutes gone.
There might be a few clubs be very interested in getting the tape on this game and having a look at it, I reckon, in Premier Division.
The way that Noble Park have beat Balwyn.
Yeah.
Certainly the pressure's just been phenomenal all afternoon. So the win will keep them either 4th or 3rd on the ladder, depending on percentage, the Bulls.
So ball comes out towards the commentary side of the ground, batted forward by Ball, and he just can't get under control, and it's gone out of bounds.
So who was writing them off? They're 5-3.
No, I don't think anyone was writing them off.
Besto's
I don't know.
Besto's
creating a narrative here to make them the underdogs.
Never let the truth get in the way of a good story as Beach wins the head out, but it's fallen. And that'll be a free kick. Charlie Haley it was. He drew the free kick. He's just outside the arc. It's probably too far to score. He's beaten up today, Charlie Haley. He's been on and off the ground with various injuries. And he's going to have a crack, I think. This will be beyond him, surely, you would think.
Certainly a popular player with the Noble Park faithful, isn't he, Charlie Haley?
He's the villain, Charlie Haley, as he puts the ball. I tell you what, he's got plenty on it, but it's going to be short well and truly. There was a jumper pull there on one of the Balwyn players. Could have been a case for a free kick as the ball is knocked down. A big tackle comes in there.
You know, that was rugby league there, wasn't it? Just two blokes tackling him straight through.
And we'll have a free kick in the end. Goes the way of Goikoa.
Our man Goikoa, Brash.
He's back.
He does little 5-minute. He's a burst player. He's the definition of a burst player.
Gee, I wonder if his bursts are enough to keep him in the lineup for next week.
I reckon he's done all right. You can't change this team, can you? Francis down the line, he won't be missing his spot. There's Goikoa again, Brash. He's everywhere.
My God, what's he doing?
He's the best player in the comp for 5 minutes. Short ball, I wish. Sketcher, marks, chips it down the line to Beach. Jack Beach. He moved from Knox at the start of last season. That's one of the more well-timed transfers from Jack Beach. He goes long down the line. Can they take a mark? No, they can't, but they bring it to ground. Keen's around this one. As is McDonald. The handball comes through, though. Eventually, Van Driel got the handball to Britton, who slapped it on the left boot. Jack Francis, guess who? He'll mop up. Got players on the outside. And goes to one of them, Luke Nelson, who's kicked 2 goals. 2 by my count today.
Correct.
And he goes short, out wide.
3-quarter time at Scoresby Recreation Reserve. Surrey Park lead by 13. That'd be the only close result here this afternoon.
And then Matthew Nelson's kick was smothered by the man on the mark. Luke Nelson goes back in and gets it. Little handball out wide to Quaife. Good smothered by Wilson, who taps for the boundary line and gets it. Umpire says throw it in. So we've gone 15 minutes here in the last quarter. Balwyn 4-10-34. Noble Park 11-14-80. When was the last time, Brash, you reckon Balwyn were kept to under 5 goals?
Oh, they kicked 4 odd against Vermont a few around 4.
So their 2 losses this year, they've just struggled to find an avenue to goal.
So umpire throws it in. The Sketcher was there, but he couldn't get it, but it's fallen for Noble Park, and they'll go inside 50 again. It was Stern at the fall of the ball there. There's one of the Balwyn players. He's taken in a very heavy tackle by King. And the umpire says we'll have the ball up just on the edge of the arc.
4-10 they kicked against Vermont, which is what they're on now, I think.
Up it goes. There's going to be a free kick paid. Gaines come over the top, and he may have given one away here. And that's the way the umpire has seen it. So free kick to Balwyn. Taking an age to, they just need to put it on the boot and just thump it forward because they've got nothing to lose. It falls to the ground. Good work there by Quay. Funny little ball bouncing at Morrison. He gets his hands on it, gets a little handball off. Now in the hands of Nelson over there. They thump it forward. Long kick, trying to find a target, but it's been cut off over there. Nice work over there by Britton. He's been pretty good for Balwyn today. Sends it long, gets over the back, and that'll be a whistle. Another free kick going the way of Balwyn, I think, judging by the reaction from the Noble. No, in fact, it goes the way of Noble on that occasion. Thomas goes out wide. Sketch a little short kick. Finds the target. So, look, ball. Unusual reliable game today. Goes forward and finds Noblet. He's had a bit of a mixed afternoon, Noblet. Chips it into the pocket. Looks like kick to kick at the moment. Mark taken by McDonald, sorry. Looking for someone to kick to as he waits to send it long. Now it is inside 50. Can they get a target? Hit a target. Up they fly, but good defensive work, and it's been punched out of bounds on the far side of the ground, and the margin remains at 46.
It's been around that. Well, it feels like it's been around that all day, really. That margin.
It hasn't deviated that much, has it?
Well, obviously at the start, but even then there was no real intensity from the start of the game from Balwyn. It'll be interesting. So, Brash, they need to develop, because sides are now going to try and do this, aren't they? They're going to just try and make the games ugly. As Sketcher is eventually mowed down. It wasn't really a tackle, though, so he's allowed to get back up, hook around on the left, kick it to the top of the goal square, and then the player down there, Kyle Elliott, could have taken the mark because he double-fisted it. Stern hooked it around the corner. Britton came across. Mark may take it by Thomas Glenn. It is.
Admittedly, Matt, I just wonder, though, whether this type of game plan is that Balwyn have had their 2 losses on, have been on small grounds. Don't know whether this sort of game plan would, could stick for 4 quarters on a bigger ground.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's obviously you'd have to be extremely fit, and there'd be more space for them to bite off kicks that would allow them to play a possession style. But
you can't take
to get there, don't you?
Yeah, that's right.
And a lot of grounds in Premier Division are quite small. So it wasn't Glenn, it was Lambert, and that kick got to the side of the boot. He's through for a behind, but that was another fine piece of play again. If you look at Noble, this, like we said, it's not something that you'd probably set your watch to, this game plan, but it's effective. There's a bit of Richmond about it, dare I say, Ron.
Yeah, no, I
just
agree
sort of
with
get
that.
it forward, get it in there, and just put some pressure on.
Just get it to ground.
Ball comes back into play, kicking in the middle of the ground. Speaking of the ground, it's where the ball finishes up, and the umpire says we will have a ball up. Because the tackle comes in from Nelson.
So there's no real big grounds besides probably Noble.
Berwick.
In saying that,
Berwick in Premier Division.
Yeah.
Balwyn have still won most of their games on small grounds this year so far. So I wouldn't be too concerned from a Tiger perspective.
No, it's just how they figure out how to break it, because teams are just going to try and do this now, you would assume.
So Gaines wins the free kick after being infringed by Elliott, sends it long. But a good mark taken back there, really good mark taken by Hicks. And Balwyn will bring it forward again. A little short kick, and they find a target. They've got a bit of run-off half-back finally. Chip out wide, good work. Mark taken over there by Lyle, it is. So Jared Lyle, just the 1 goal today to add to his 19 for the season. Taking an absolute age, but I think he's going to have a go. He's a long way out, but he's probably worth it. May as well have a crack at this point. He's going to be kicking from probably, good contact, but he's kicked it. Well, there you go. He was just about in the car park when he kicked it. I reckon he was about 5 metres outside the arc, but he made superb contact and he puts it through. So something for the Balwyn faithful to get excited about.
And the crowd went absolutely wild.
I don't know if excited's the right word.
Where have they all gone? They've gone up White Horse Road, Brash. They've gone for a quick bite.
I wrote him off.
What a muted response that was.
11:15:81 to 5:10:40 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Coming up to time on in this last quarter.
Thank God. Back up in the middle of the ground, Anderson and Gaines. No one got a hit out to it. Eventually Smith came across, but it fell in the hands of Lambert, who handled to Glenn, who just hacked it out of midair. Long ball inside forward 50. Marston couldn't take the mark. Kevin Keane deserves a goal today. Big Keeney, and he gets it. And don't the Noble crowd love it, Brass? That's what we want to hear. Kevin Keane, the ultimate pressure forward. Beautiful crumbing goal from Keeney. The Bulls get it back out to 47 points, 12-15 to 5-10. Look at this from Kevin. Right spot, right time. Crumbing goals, Brash. Don't see enough of them these days.
No, he's a premiership player too, Keane.
He is a premiership player.
So he shouldn't be forgotten.
So another goal. Well done to Noble.
He played a decoy full forward very well for this game this afternoon too.
Well, they all have. Ben Marston. I'd love to know Ben Marston's height because he's played like he's 6'6". Back in the middle again. Anderson hit out straight into the arms of Bowen Smith. Any stats for us, Jared, that amplify this performance by Noble Park?
Yeah, the inside 50 count just in totality, 67 to 34, really exemplifies just how how much pressure they've been able to put on the exiting defensive 50 kicks for Balwyn.
So handball chains from Balwyn, though, eventually intercepted by Matthew Nelson. Gave it to Horton Milne, gave it back to him, but that was spilt. Cross's kick was smothered in the end, and Lachlan will get a chance, and he delivers out wide. Short boy to Gorkoa, who comes up with it. Nice disposal down the line. He uses it well. Found Marson. That man, he's got the 3 for mine. 3-2-1.
Can you
Marson.
find?
Oh! Again, another big hang that the crowd aren't here to see. Handball chains eventually end up in the hands of Sticker, and he'll be gone for holding the ball. That's the story of Balwyn's day. One piece of brilliance followed up by a couple of rudimentary errors. And it'll be a free kick at centre back to Jake Gaines. My 3-2-1 at the moment. It's Marson, Francis, and then take your pick.
I thought you were going to say Gorkoa there for a minute.
Well, he was. Halfway through the first quarter, he was.
I'm surprised you're not giving him the 3.
He's been good when he got. I think you think I'm patronising him. He's been good, and that's the thing about Noble. They've had 3 or 4 standouts, but literally every person has played a role to the best of their ability.
Which is why they won a flag.
Exactly. On a day like this, although with today's been minus the.
More rain.
There was about 100 mils of rain.
Valhalla was opening when they won the grand final.
Eventually, Bowen Smith goes inside forward 50. There's Riet Powell. Wouldn't have had many disposals, but he's done a fantastic job on Jeff Gobles. The handballs end up with Oakes, who's 55 from home, pops it to the goal square, and Van Driel is unmarked, and he kicks a goal. So Balwyn 6-10-46, Noble 12-15-87. We've gone 23 minutes here in the final quarter.
Out at Scoresby, the Magpies have kicked a late goal, 9-7-61. Trail Surrey by 5 points, 9-12-66. It's about 15 minutes gone there. So still open for Surrey's first loss of the season, potentially. As we go to Jared Mainland, Stat Centre.
Yeah, Matty was asking for stats that define the game. The other one for me, other than the inside 50s, has definitely got to be the tackles. Noble Park lead that currently 57-32 for the entire game.
Tells a story, doesn't it, as Gaines gets the head out, falls for Noble. Little short kick forward. Mark is taken. So it's Bodie Lambert just looking around for someone to kick to. Not too many players forward of the ball, so he decides to go sideways. Here's another kick sideways. Francis. He's had a very good game, Jack Francis. So it's all just come a little bit stodgy at the moment. Not too much happening as the ball goes down the line. Up they fly and off hands. The ball goes out of bounds. So we've had 23 and a half minutes gone in this last quarter, and Noble Park have sent a big message to the rest of the comp with this performance today. 41 points up against the much fancied Balwyn side, who came into this game top of the ladder and playing pretty well, it had to be said. As the ball goes forward, falls into the hands of Cross, tries to get it out, but it's been picked up there by one of the Noble Park players on the ground. That's Stern, I think, under there. And the umpire says eventually I think he's going to play the ball up, and he does.
Makes a point, if you don't bring your A game, Ryan, you're not going to win it.
Yeah, we've said, what have we said every week?
Yep.
So one out of there by Nelson. Glenn it was, who gets his kick partially smothered. So
Premier Division is unforgiving about it this year too.
So Structure's gone a bit out of the game as you'd expect as we go through the final motions, but Noble Park just looking for the end as they, I'm sure, will be celebrating this one long and hard as it's put on the boot of Nelson. He goes long inside 50. Can they get a mark? Not at the moment, but the ball falls. There's Gorkoa, Matty's favourite player. Couldn't quite get there. A little chip out wide. Should be marked over there. No, in fact, it's not. It's been spoiled out of bounds. And we'll have a throw in on the far side. 25 minutes gone.
You reckon the Noble fans will stay around for a beer, Ron?
No. Where do you go for a drink here?
Down there.
You know the area well.
I don't know.
Down into the new
rooms.
The new club rooms down there. They're really nice.
Plenty of boarding holes around, Ryan, as this hit out into the corridor. Look, Nelson, he might get my one. He's been lively all day. Kick inside forward 50. Gorkoa's got a chance, though. Later Shepherd for Ben Marson outside of the boot. Is it curling back to the top of the square? Well done by Noblet, who's also been impressive. Kept it in play. And then he and Keane are just sort of raffling it off there before Keane takes over the line for a bandit throw.
I've liked McDonald on the wing.
Yeah, I thought he.
Well, it probably comes back to what Ryan said. You could throw a blanket over him.
Yeah,
there's been two real standouts at either end. Probably the centre half back and the centre half forward, Marson and Francis.
Yeah, and the one vote you can
raffle it off, basically.
So
Marson, the Quasi, Gorkoa, there he is, stepping around, rifle kick towards goal. It's across the face, out of bounds on the full.
Scoresby in front, 67-66, Surrey Park.
Oh, wow. What a game.
Scoresby in front.
What?
Is Raymond there?
He is there.
Is Josh still here?
Get him on the line, call the last 5 minutes.
Surrey Park got a mention on the broadcast last night. Dylan Williams, Port Adelaide, apparently Surrey Park. As Gobleitson takes the kick out, or from the free kick, and Ben Marson, tried to claim the mark and was driven into the ground by Nathan Oakes, and we'll have a ball up centre half forward for Noble Park, as it has been all day, hasn't it, Besto? They lead by 41 points, and they've just been dominant from go to woe. 4-quarter performance for the Bulls. Sketcher incidentally toe pokes it to Luke Nelson, who got his handball back to Sketcher, who hooks it around the body to a dangerous position inside forward 50. Marson
Good mark.
going back with the fight. Bowen Smith, fantastic mark. Goes around, handball over the top, cross, Urban, sticker. Can they get one more goal here, the Tigers? No, they can't, because guess who? Jack Francis takes another intercept mark.
So Francis has been colossal today, finds his teammate.
Downfield?
Morrison, downfield free kick. We're reliably informed there's probably about 10 seconds left, so there's not going to be too much time for him to do anything, but he's just taking his time. In fact, it's a free kick to Balwyn. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but the little chip inside doesn't go to a target, though. It's bouncing around, and there is the siren. And a fantastic victory for Noble Park out here at Balwyn today. They probably come into this game as slight underdogs, but they've been far too good. Final score out here, 12-15-87 to 16-46. As we go through the goal kickers, Matty, if you know.
I did. Sorry, I could probably give you the Hawthorn goal kickers. No, the goal kickers for Balwyn, 2 to Jordan Lyle, 1 to Tristram Van Driel, and then singles as well to Alex Urban, Jeff Gobles and Charlie Haley. Whilst for Noble Park, there was a goal to Chris Orton-Milman, a goal to Jackson Casey, a goal to Ben Marson, 3 goals to Luke Nelson, 2 goals to Liam Scott, 1 goal to Kevin Keane, and 3 goals to Joshua Stern.
Well,
Ryan?
Pretty comprehensive performance here by Noble Park this afternoon. It was a must-win game for them, but look, you can't take nothing away from it. They were switched on from the word go. Their pressure right throughout for the 4 quarters was immense. Balwyn, unfortunately, just could not find any creditable avenues to goal. They were under pressure every time they had every time they took disposal of the ball. And I've got a question.
We'll go boundary side first, because Dylan Smith has got Ben Marson down there.
Yeah, guys, I'm here with Ben. Fantastic win for the guys today. What did you think of that one?
Yeah, very good win. Good stop side, yeah. Just come out defensively. I thought we were very, very strong. Really very good defensively side. Very hard the footy. I think, yeah, just
Yeah, there's been a bit of a narrative, I guess, for you guys that you haven't started the season as well after the heights that you hit last year. How important is that win in the context of the year for you guys?
100%. That top 2 is very vital coming into the end of the year. So that's our goal, and hopefully we'll work towards that coming in the next couple of rounds. So have the week off, get ready for that. It's East Ringwood next game, so yeah, get ready for that at home. So yeah.
100%, yeah. So how did you find playing Balwyn today? They're obviously just had the 1 loss for the season. They've probably been the best team over the first half of the year. How did you find playing them?
Tough, very tough, yeah. No, good side, 100%, well structured, everything like that. So, yeah, credit to them. But, yeah, got the chocolates today, so, yeah, very good.
Awesome. Congratulations on the win, Ben.
Thanks there, Dylan, with Ben Marson, who was probably a contender here for the Eastland Sports Co. Player of the Day, which we will do quite shortly with the votes. But Brash, you were just halfway through something. I think you were about to ask a question.
Yeah, look, I just thought that that Noble Park basically asked Balwyn the questions this afternoon. Are you ready for to get down and dirty? And unfortunately, Noble Park brought their A game today, and it just proves that if you're off that 5% in this competition this year, you're going to get beaten. And unfortunately for Balwyn today, they didn't play their best game because they weren't allowed to play their best game.
Well, that's key, wasn't it? That Noble Park were the reason why they didn't play well, because of their pressure around the footy. Physically, I thought they were much stronger than Balwyn all afternoon. And as you hear, the fans who have stuck around are certainly very happy with this win. A 41-point win here at the Eastland Match of the round. We might be able to hear the song down the rooms.
I think
the boys are falling down.
Gusto if we can hear it.
Yeah,
they'll be very happy with us.
Yeah, certainly right. I believe that the boys on the boundary are going down to the rooms.
And once again, the away side which continues one of the trends in this contest, happens to win away from home again.
We often took points of the home ground advantage if we're not sure.
Not in this game, it isn't.
No, but I was going to say before the game, we might say, tight game, home ground advantage, but it means nothing this year.
We will keep an eye on the scores down at Scoresby at the moment. I think Ray's last update, scores level. That was 4 minutes ago. So there can't be a whole lot of time left there at Scoresby. An interleague update. 5 out of 6 wins for the Eastern Football Netball League.
Awesome. I like that.
See those games on the live stream on our YouTube channels. And also on Monday as well, we've got the 4 games happening there. So I don't think we've got the song downstairs. Do we want to get into votes? Because I don't think we're going to get a song down there. Who wants to start first, Jared?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I've given my 1 vote to Lockie McDonald on a wing. I thought he played a pretty selfless game. When he took possession of the ball, I don't think he made sure that he kicked his possessions did hurt Balwyn because they didn't go to. They always went to an advantageous Noble Park player. 2 votes to Ben Marson. I thought his game at centre half forward, in not a typical centre half forward game, especially on his height. But he actually played like, as Matty said, a 6'7" player. His mobility around the ground was very good. And I thought he provided a really good focal point throughout the afternoon. But I thought the best man on the ground this afternoon was Jack Francis across that half-back line. He was basically unstoppable. You couldn't get the ball past him. His interception work throughout the day was, in the terms of Bruce McAvaney, special. And I think
you got to say it right, Brad.
No.
Special.
But I just thought that he was the one player that put in the quintessential four-quarter effort.
Jared, your 3 votes for this afternoon's game?
Yeah, my 3. I love players like Jack Francis. Those intercept markers, they always stand out to me quite a lot, and it just shows such ability to read the play. And it's always difficult to read the play off the opposition boot. And he just did that so well. I'm also going to give my 2 to Ben Marson. It's going to be a bit same, to be honest. I'm going to give my 1 vote, however, to Ryan Morrison, because I feel like he acquitted himself well. He was a big part of the Noble Park defence. He probably didn't get as much of the ball necessarily, but he really locked down, those key forwards for Balwyn, who have been so dangerous throughout the year.
You're right, Dan. You made sure Lyle didn't have the influence on the contest that he could have had too. I agree with that. That's a good 1 vote.
Yeah, I've actually gone for Ryan Morrison as well in the 1 vote, and then just with the 2 and 3, I've pretty much for the same reasons switched them around there. I thought Ben Marson was a little bit more influential. Both had big afternoons, and he was just massive. He gave him a lot of opportunities up forward, and the amount of marks from both players, really impressive there from Noble Park. Matt, your 3 for the afternoon?
3. I'll start with 1. I'll start down the bottom. I'm going to give my 1 to Luke Nelson. Was probably the most dangerous forward on the ground. I think what did he kick 3-1, 3-2 or something like that, Brash, but definitely. Yeah. Probably had the most disposals of any of the small forwards, but I think you could have given 1 vote to any of the forwards for Noble. Liam Scott crashed the packs well and as a quasi key forward, and obviously Josh Stern kicked 3 goals. 2 votes, I'm going to go with Jack Francis. I think, he played a really important game, but I think Ben Marson just got the edge, because in that first quarter, when we noted how undersized they were, he took a number of key marks. I think he at some stage rucked. Yeah. Even though they had 2 ruckmen out there. But then also, and I think the last game I saw him play was that grand final, and he was equally as impressive. So he's one of those players that, with Martin, McDonald and those other guys being injured, has actually sort of come to the fore as one of their A-graders that's been hiding for a couple of years because of how much talent they've had. So Ben Marson for mine.
And Brett Beston?
A bit similar. I went with Stern for the 1 vote. He kicked those 2 goals in the first quarter. I mean, we have to remember that the game was up for grabs at that point, so he kicked 2 really important goals, and he was quite influential in that first quarter, and he got another one later on as well to finish with 3. So, I mean, it was the 1 vote could have gone to almost anyone. 2 votes I gave to Ben Marson for the reason that you guys said, but I also like Jack Francis. I mean, time and time again across that half-back line, as Balwyn tried to attack, he was there, and every time someone took an intercept mark, he looked up and it was Francis, and he was like a rock across the half-back line, so I went for Francis in my 3.
I think that's
Jack Francis.
There you go, for Jack Francis. Congratulations to the Sportsco Eastland player of the day, and you can head off to Eastland tomorrow and grab something. I will. I'm actually stopping in at Eastland tomorrow afternoon. I've got the day off, so might go to Sportsco Eastland myself. Our Tobin Brothers goal of the day. This is actually a tough one because I've forgotten who kicked those early first two goals.
Josh Stern.
That was Stern who kicked that.
Yeah.
Everyone happy with that one?
Yeah. Not going to complain.
I think so.
I can't remember that long ago.
Josh Stern, the first goal of the game, he got the free kick for the high right in front of that opening because there's no gates here at Balwyn Visy Park. There's just openings. It's obviously not a visual medium at the moment. I'm just pointing. But there's a little gate over there.
No, you're on the screen at the moment.
I'm on the screen.
Oh, we haven't got what you're pointing
to.
Yeah,
exactly. If you had my point of view. Anyway, he kicked it from over there. There we go. All right. Just a little bit to our right. Yep. See where that gap in the fence is? Yep. Just to the left. Yep. Right. Yep. There. That's where he kicked it from. And it started the day and you thought, geez, we're in for a high-quality game of football.
Didn't quite turn out.
That was the
pan out to be that way in the end.
There's a bloke over there with the footy. Maybe we could get him to recreate the...
Oh, there we go. He's almost in the position.
Think about it. This is high quality.
Right there.
High-quality radio coverage.
Back a bit.
No. He's seen enough.
Updates around the grounds. 22 minutes gone in the fourth quarter. Scoresby lead by a point. And then Montrose defeated Mooroolbark by 50 points, 91-41. I haven't got the final score at Croydon North, but Churnside Park did win that quite comfortably as expected. But we'll keep an eye on that last score there at Scoresby. We might take a quick break here before we come back and wrap things up. And we'll probably get another interview after the game.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her two young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Tobin Brothers Funerals wear their heart on their sleeve. Their clear and easy-to-use website and Memory Maker app make it easy for families to make an informed decision. Here's James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals.
We pride ourselves on being the most transparent funeral company. All pricing on goods and services are available on our website. It's all there for you to see and make very informed decisions when planning a loved one's funeral.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $200 a year on water and energy bills. Shower shorter. Save water. Authorised by the Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season. Bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to the Eastland Match of the Round. We'll head down to ground level because Josh Ward has the best on ground here. Jack Francis with him. Josh?
I do.
Yeah, Jack, congratulations on the win. Thought you were fantastic all afternoon. I don't know what Josh is. Oh, he's. That's all good. That's all right. Jack, congratulations on the win. I thought you were fantastic all afternoon. Just how important was it for your side to win this one today, considering the difference between being 6-3 and 5-4? It certainly puts you back in the top 4 and really into a good spot coming into the second half of the year.
Jack, what's it like playing in this competition this year? Because now, in years gone by, it's always been 5 or 6 sides that really dominate. But now there's like 9 or 10 sides in this division, and it's like you can't go out there and take any game easy at all anymore, isn't it? What's the your mindset today? Was it the fact that you were able to read the game on your terms yourself because of the pressure that was put on by your fellow teammates for you to have the maximum impact? I thought also too. With Marston down forward, he's probably not your true centre half forward in the big man sense, but he plays like a man with lots of mobility, and he certainly knows where the goals is. And it almost seems like that you can develop him even more in that position. You got a few sets of brothers playing down at Noble Park. What's it like playing with Marsons? And there's another group of them down there as well, isn't there? And for the rest of the season, Jack, obviously with the big win here this afternoon, it's basically a really good kickstart for the second half of the season. So you'll get a week off now to do whatever you'd like to do, and you'll be back in a next couple of weeks ready to do it all again.
Balwyn on Queen's birthday and kick-started our season.
Yeah, well, you don't want to be peaking at round 10, do you?
Yeah, that's it.
G'day, Jack. Jared here. Congratulations on the win. Fantastic performance by yourself, especially. You mentioned the defensive scorecard that your team has set up there. Is that part of? Has that been a consistent thing throughout the years that you've been playing there? And is that like a big part of Noble Park's identity?
Yeah, 100%. We've got a stat guy that comes and does just all the defensive stats. So we have it. You can see it there: quarter time, half time, 3/4 time. And that's a big focus. If you're not getting a kick, you better be on the board.
Who's usually blowing up that?
It was Marto last year, and Hodgie, Horton Milne in the middle, Jacko Casey, even a few of the boys like Rhett Pell, and Bodie today I think he nearly blew it up. So yeah.
Jack, the other guy talking about defence, of course, it makes your life a lot easier down there. You've got Ryan Morrison down there, he's just so good, isn't he? Mr. Dependable. It must be great playing alongside him. You would have learned, having gone back in defence after playing largely forward last year, you must have learned a lot off him and got a lot of advice from him. Yeah, that's it. He's just a competitive beast, and we love him down there. You just know you'll give him a hard job, the toughest job every week, and he normally comes off the winner. The other thing we talked about today too, and it's been the case for, well, it seems like forever, you don't have that big focal forward. Like even last year we had, like the likes of Shane Allen and Ziggy. You've got those small forwards, but you still managed to get the job done without that big focal full forward. Yeah, I think we, even last year, I was down there, we had a few of us sort of medium type forwards, but it just makes it unpredictable. The other team knows we're not going to just bomb it to a big full forward all the time. Yeah, so they don't know where we're going. Yeah, we almost sort of, in the commentary, refer to your game more as a sort of a chaos game, because sometimes it looks quite unstructured.
Yeah, a little bit. I think that we just base our game on pressure. So, yeah, all comes from that.
Is that also an instinct thing as well? Just the connection with the mids and the forwards, you kind of know what's going on, in their minds, even though the opposition might not.
Yeah, a little bit. We've been working a lot on it the last few weeks. It was pretty poor at the start of the year, so things are starting to work a little bit better down there now.
Jack, we really appreciate your time after the game. Don't go too far. You're the Sportsco Eastland Player of the Day, so grab an award there, and thanks again.
No worries, thanks, mate.
He was fantastic all afternoon, and a big win here for the Bulls, obviously. A couple of final results here that we've got in. Scoresby have defeated Surrey Park. So
awesome.
I hope Josh he hasn't got his headphones on, so he's not listening to that down there. We'll get it. I want a face reaction of him.
Yeah.
Finding out that they
I want to take a photo
first.
of him when we tell him that.
Yeah, it would be certainly right. But that's a big win for Scoresby, though, Brash. We saw him last week. And Josh, you got us? You down here?
Yes, I do.
Surrey Park.
Yeah, maybe it's the loss they need. Maybe it's the loss they need. Honestly, they were missing players. Again, they were missing players. But
every team's missing
had
players.
We did say if Surrey went down there mentally thinking that they were going to beat Scoresby again and they were off a little bit, then that was going to happen. It can happen.
But it's a big result for them because they did need to beat Surrey
Yeah.
at least once coming into a final series, because all roads will go through them to get there and win a flag in Division 4. So very important that they got the job done today, and a close one too. They were trailing quite a fair bit in that first half. So, Jared, it's a big result.
I'm surprised that Josh hasn't blamed the Surrey Park away strip yet, because he had a lot to say about that the first time they played it against Scoresby.
I do blame that away strip. Thank you very much.
It's and for the listeners who don't know, it's silver with an orange yolk, which is just
beautiful.
Yeah. Gorgeous look.
Yeah, dude. Well, yeah, that will depend. If it's interesting, if the two sides do meet in a grand final Division 4, someone would be wearing the clash jumper, unless they can organise and buy sets for everyone of your own Surrey Park or Scoresby and Forest Hill too. I think they clash with Scoresby. So
I just wanted to
clashes left, right, and centre. Sorry to interrupt, Jared.
I just wanted to see the prison bars versus the black and white stripes, and
won't
take a photo and give Eddie Maguire a bit of a hard time about it.
Yeah, that's right. Just in on this game, Brash, it's certainly a big result for Noble Park, and puts them, I believe, into fourth spot, maybe third on percentage, and now no one has got more than the 7 wins in the division. Everyone's had at least 2 losses.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of this competition this year. Like I said, it's the closest it's ever been. I think I've said earlier, for many, many years. And look, there's a lot of sides there that when you look at them on their side on paper, it doesn't look an exciting side compared to what you've had. The smorgasbord of players that we've had at the top level in this division for such a long time, and then all of a sudden you're seeing Noble Park and beating Balwyn, and then Vermont coming off a 90-point thrashing to beat Balwyn. You got East Ringwood, surviving 2 points to South Croydon. There's so many games now that are so different, Brett, with the results that are thrown up.
Yeah, it makes it a great comp, though. I mean, everything's sort of changed a lot now from even 4 or 5 years ago, when we could sort of pretty much predict with reasonable amounts of confidence that a Vermont would win. But now it's all changed, and that's good. It's sort of that whole equalisation thing, isn't it?
Well, the thing is too, but the other thing is too, this sort of thing is also starting to filter down to the lower divisions too. Where, first division, I don't think I've ever seen second division as tight as what it has been in recent years. So, I mean, look, I think that the competition, the Eastern Football Netball League, football-wise, is in a very, very healthy state at the men's level.
Oh, yeah, you're right. And in Division 2, as you said, the top 4 are all very close to each other on the ladder. Division 3 is a little bit, the top, there's definitely a gap between Ferntree Gully and Donvale and the rest of the division. And Division 4, as we saw today, at third place beating first. Now both Surrey Park and Kilsyth have had a loss, and that's different compare that to recent years, and especially, a Coldstream in 21. they were never going to lose a game. Sylvan did lose a couple to Surrey Park, but that was still clearly the benchmark, I think, of the division. And this year, again, it's a little bit more open. The other big result, I think it's expected. Montrose defeated Mooroolbark by 50 points and controlled that game right from the start, as they probably needed to do. Brash, they just had to get a win and keep their season going and being able to maintain touch with the top three sides.
I think Gary Ayres would be very happy with the result. A nice turnaround, 50 points, especially up at Heights Reserve against a very plucky Mooroolbark side, who I think might have... I think they're going to struggle to... They might be able to shape the finals, Mooroolbark, but I can't see them playing finals
No,
now.
I don't think so. I think that 5 is almost locked in, just about. Who's sitting outside? North Ringwood.
It's North Ringwood, yeah.
Yeah, and they're, what are they, a game out with 4 wins, but their percentage is not great because they're not. They can't score much.
No.
You know, a lot of their wins are those low-scoring, close games, Josh.
Yeah, and they've had those 2 thumping defeats to South Belgrave and North Ringwood as well.
North Ringwood probably, with the fact that they can't score, even if they'd limped into the finals, I couldn't see them winning the round 1.
No.
I could potentially see Beaconsfield winning round 1 because they've defeated Wantirna South at home.
Well, that's the other thing. If North Ringwood jump in, who are you taking out? I don't think you can really. I think it'd be a discredit to Beaconsfield to say they won't play finals at this stage. I mean, it can happen if one of those top 4 or 5 sides do have a few injuries and drop off. There's always that chance, but I don't think so.
It might come down to the home records of both Beaconsfield and North Ringwood at the end of the year. North Ringwood have been able to make their home ground a bit of a fortress. They've won, I think, 4 out of their 5 games there so far, and I think Beaconsfield have only lost once down at Home Park.
I think they've lost twice against Montrose in South Belgrave. So, but I think it's still a tough trip to go down to Home Park, as that South Belgrave win was, I think, 12 points to the Saints, and against Montrose it was just that second half where they just faded away. So, I think it would be disappointing if Beaconsfield did miss finals from here, I reckon.
Yeah, I think, so really I think a lot of the competitions, whilst the second half of the season are going to be, the competition's always going to, there's going to be still upsets before the end of the season.
Oh,
no doubt.
It always is.
And so really, it would be really good if a lot of the finals, makeup of the finals, goes down to the end of the last round, so that you don't know to the last round who's going to be playing in round 1 in the finals, Josh.
Yeah, I think, and some divisions might do that as well. For example, Premier Division, I reckon it will definitely go down to the final round. Division 1 maybe not. Division 2, I think there's a chance, just because there's that, East Burwood, Ringwood and Mulgrave between 5th and 7th. Division 3 maybe if Warrandyte make a late run, and Division 4 it's hard to see that top 4 changing. But
no, you're right. You're right. And the thing is, look, Surrey obviously losing today. I mean, look, it's not a disaster for them. They've gone down by what, a point or 2?
8 points, I think it was. And so it's not the end of the end of the world. It's the loss they need, maybe, like Kilsyth last weekend against Forest Hill.
I think you always want to, I always am under that theory that you'd rather lose at least one during the season, and I know it's very hard to go through a whole season without losing a game and then winning the flag. And even a couple of years back, Ringwood, I think they had 18 in a row, and then the 2 finals, and then lost to Baroni in the grand final. So it's you can play as well as you want during the home and away season, but if you have a loss now, it's much better than having it come September. I still think they're the benchmark. I still think they're the team to beat in Division 4. I don't think they'll certainly won't lose any reputation after this afternoon. I think it's just more of a fact that now Scoresby know they can compete with the top sides, and they needed that going into September or August. I keep saying that. August is the grand final for Division 4.
It gives them confidence, doesn't it? And just probably affirms the fact that they'd be coming into this year thinking, no, like we got double relegated into this division. We deserve to still be in Division 3, and this might give them that extra little boost of confidence to think that, hey, look, we maybe we can set our sights on being promoted this year and go back to playing in a division where we actually belong.
My mind still hasn't. My mind hasn't wavered about Scoresby since the start of the season. I said at the start of the season that for mine, the preliminary final for me was where they need to be.
Yeah.
Before, because I think on the playing list that they've got, some of those guys at Division 1, ex-Premier Division type players that have played at the higher levels. So it's not like that they don't know how to perform. It's just that it's just the way the club has just structured it and gone in the last few years. It happens, but that doesn't mean that, like I said,
Well, it's an interesting list when you've got guys like Dal Hare and Brongeese who have been around the league for so long. But then on the flip side, a lot of their players are really young and they've brought a lot of players back to the club. A lot of players have come up and it is a young list overall. And I know Surrey Park are probably similar. They've got, certainly when we looked at them last year compared to Sylvan, it would be so different with both sides if they one or the other went up last year, because Sylvan, I think, are well set up. Surrey Park are well set up to stay up a division if they do get up, because they are building from the bottom with those young players. Someone like a Nick Can, I don't know how old he is. He's got to be early 20s.
I think he's 21 or something.
There you go. Falahay, Kennedy's more experienced. I'm not going to go through all the list now, but they do have those players. No, I don't want you to. It was certainly not, but I think they're well set up to go up if they do. Kilsyth are similar. They've got a lot of young players, and then they've brought in their recruits are not that old themselves, so they're well set up to go up. I think whoever does win this flag has a good opportunity to stay up a division.
It'll be interesting to see, even though the top four is relatively set, you've got Scoresby and Forest Hill playing next week, I think.
Well, that's another big one as well, because Forest Hill in some good form.
So that'll be an interesting game just to see what happens, because Scoresby have obviously had a good win today, but can they beat Forest Hill? And then Forest Hill have been a bit up and down, so that'll be interesting.
And that's a potential elimination final preview as well.
And the thing is, and obviously with Chirnside winning again today, whoever they play next week, obviously they'll take a little bit of confidence in, knowing that obviously either Scoresby or Forest Hill are either going to be winners or losers. It gives them a glimmer, and I'm only saying a glimmer if they happen to snare another win. But, look, I reckon it's a long bow to expect Chirnside to come back from where they are.
They've got Chirnside have got Surrey Park next week.
Yeah, well,
that's a tricky one, obviously.
If they pull off that as an upset, then you start to open the door for them, but they just seem to be too far out of it at the moment.
So even when Chirnside Park were in a better spot last year, they struggled to get over Surrey Park.
I couldn't see Surrey Park losing two in a row.
Didn't Surrey Park beat Chirnside by over 20 goals in a game last year, Josh?
They beat them in that prelim final by, I think, 110 points, and then I think it was...
Wasn't there a game early in the season?
87 points around there.
Yeah, I think it was 80 odd points out at Surrey Park as well, and I don't think they've gone out to Kimberley Reserve since we saw them early last year, and that was a pretty good contest in the end. But I just think
both sides have just changed so much from then as well, and obviously Surrey have turned into a little bit of a juggernaut of the division, while Chirnside Park have had a lot of injuries and certainly a different side.
And the other thing, Ryan, with Surrey Park, their junior setup, especially in the Yarra Junior football competition, is one of the strongest junior football competitions in metropolitan Victoria. So they're not going to be lacking from of talent coming from that competition either.
Absolutely. I saw you about to say something.
I was about to say the foundations have been built for a long time now through that junior program. It's been strong. Well, when I played junior footy there, like most players who I played alongside in junior footy, Jack McLaren, Cal Garvin, and Parker Fox, they're all playing key roles in the lineup. I could go on and on. And
we're struggling for time when we have to go back to your junior career to fill us out
go
here.
Back
Let's jump
to Moorbark Montrose, maybe.
Okay, no, that's fair. And for Moorbark, as we said, that's probably they've got to pinch maybe one or two big upsets from the top 4 sides. I just don't see that happening. And for Montrose, it puts them into a better spot. They'll be back into 3rd position with I think, equal with Wantirna South. Mitcham a game ahead, and then South Belgrave have that nice handy lead at the top of the ladder with, I believe they're 2 games clear on top. They are. So that'll be the interesting thing if anyone can sort of chase down South Belgrave in the second half of the year.
I still think, though, when I look at that, I still think, if you're asking me, I still am a Mitcham person. To me, they look a lot more solid and not as flighty as what Wantirna South and Montrose are. I think there's a bit more mental strength with Mitcham than those other 2 sides.
Did we think at the start of the year, I can't remember who we sort of talked about in the pre-season, did we think Murrelbach were going to be this, not bad, but they're well off the pace. I thought they'd go better than
they lost a lot of cattle during the off-season.
Well, I think we thought
identified that.
I think we still thought they could sneak into a final spot. I think I may have even had them 5th just based off their strength in the midfield, and obviously Mackey's out for the long term with I believe that's shoulder surgery. I think I saw on their Instagram earlier today. So it's a different side there, but plenty to look forward to still for their future, because they do have a lot of younger players in that list that certainly will work their way into the senior level over the years. We've got a few minutes left here. That's pretty much it for us. Long weekend. Does anyone go away after this, or
no? Can't.
Too cold to go away.
Yeah.
Just enjoying a couple of days of R&R.
There wasn't as much traffic on the road that I noticed either.
Yeah.
Normally it's pretty packed, the roads, so they're a bit light on this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. And Josh and Jared, you'll be there on Monday out at Walker Park at Mitcham for the Junior Interleague.
Good luck, guys.
Yeah, looking forward to that. I think it's the under-15 girls and under-14 boys out there as well. So, yeah, always nice to head out to the MCG of the East. And
they look after us well there, Mitcham.
Yeah, they really do.
I'll be going from the MCG of the East to the MCG then for the King's birthday clash immediately after. Collingwood, Melbourne. We'll be in the MCC area for the first time.
Oh, really? You got a spot in there?
Yeah. So that's...
How did you swing that?
Friend of a friend, and that's...
yeah, that's the only way you get in there. Yeah. Friend of a friend.
And I believe the EFNL went 5 for 6 of games today in the Junior Interleague, which is a great result, and shows you some of the boys and girls who will be coming up the divisions or the age groups, and then eventually hopefully playing senior footy and maybe even further up depending on how they go. But great to see, and I believe they're playing. We're playing Essendon and Yarra Junior Football League on Monday.
Oh, nothing wrong with the Essendon. Essendon is some of the best senior games we ever had in when we had the seniors playing. We were against Essendon and Northern. It's a pity that competition.
The senior interleague.
Yeah.
I'd love an EFNL against the NFNL senior interleague game. That would just be a dream for someone like me.
When we had that when that competition was running, I remember doing I've done quite a few of those games to watch the players from the competitions. The skill factor, it's fantastic football, even at that level.
And there'd be a lot of players out here today that would be in contention for that side. We're going to wrap things up now. We've got Dylan Smith, Josh Ward did a fantastic job there on the boundary line.
On, Josh.
Jared Beanland in a new role in the stats centre.
Big boots to fill with
no Paul here. Wayne Brash, as always, special comments.
Thank you.
And Brett Beston, you were with Matt Fodio as well, called it well.
Yeah, it was good to call with Matty today. Nice to have him back, and it was an okay game.
Good for you.
Not a great contest.
She's really talking it down, isn't he?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Lee Green, grinning. And Lee Green, as always, who does a fantastic job. And Megan Gree out at Interleague there at Walker Park on the camera. I'm Ryan Long, as always, and thanks for joining us. It's the Bulls 12-15-87 defeating the Tigers 6-10-46.